working the weekend morning shift. It is I, your host, Pop, and welcome to a very special stream today. It's not often I invite people on, but today's the day because it was 5 Sundays in October. So the theme for October for anime for me was cosplay, and having to dig in there and try to find some cosplay themed anime, man, that's hard. So I thought today would be an open mic stream. And those of you that are familiar with the channel, I usually go through the news of the week, and that is what I'm going to do right off the bat. So let's get to it here. And I just got to find my place. There it is. So going back to Sunday, Asuka Konishi's Yakuza fiance Reiwa Taninya Limanga gets TV anime. Let's click this here. The Fable TV anime unveils designs, spring 2024 premiere. The imaginary anime film casts Kira Terao Hana Sugisaki. Here's one. Disney live-action anime Dragons of Wonder Hatch series unveils teaser, more cast, December 20th debut. I don't know how this is going to be any good. It's Disney right off the bat. And it's live action / anime Dragons of Wonder Hatch. I guess we'll see how that goes. Second, Ghost in the Shell. SAC 2045 anime compilation film unveils a new trailer visual. For those of you Ghost in the Shell fans, looks like we've got something good coming up. Laid Back Camp Season 3's new visual reveals April 2024 premiere. Going to Monday, the Apothecary Diaries anime also inspires mini anime. So it looks like they're going to be chibi style. Mao Ningen's Agyo to Tim web manga gets TV anime next April. Okay. Sentenced to be a hero anime not yet confirmed for a 2025 release. Under Night in Birth 2, Sis Selez fighting games character video highlights Tsurugi. The Foolish Angel Dances with the Devil anime's first promo video reveals January 2024 debut. Dragon Quest Monsters super light smartphone game ends service in January. There you go, folks. Another smartphone game that just up and quits, and you're left holding the bag. I always say, beware of those phone games. Doga Kobo's original anime Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night reveals fourth visual video. Burn the Witch, number 0.8, anime's new video reveals December 29th global debut. More staff and cast, nil theme song. I believe Mrs. Mechanic was reading the manga for Burn the Witch. And I think she was excited because it wasn't Bleach. It was something else that Tite Kubo did. Tay performs The Weakest Tamer Began a Journey to Pick Up Trash, anime's ending theme song. Bang Brave Bang Braver, an original TV anime reveals first promo video, visual cast, staff, January 2024 premiere. Sumiko Gurashi franchise gets first TV anime narrated by Perfume Music Group. Okay, that looks like a kid show. Digimon Adventure 2, the beginning anime film, streams opening video. Chisato Abe Kurasu wa Aruji o Urabani novel gets TV anime in April. Going back to Tuesday, Precure All-Stars F anime film sets franchise record for highest ticket sales. Well, good for them. What's it say here? Its film sold 1.08 million tickets. Nice. Shaman King Flowers anime reveals key visual, more returning cast. Monthly Moso Science anime reveals second visuals, 2-episode December 2nd advanced screening. Hokkaido Gals Are Super Adorable. Anime's trailer visual highlights Rina Natsukawa. Well, we'll just have to see how super adorable they are when it comes out. My Daughter Left the Nest and returned an S-rank adventurer anime cast Hiro Shimono. Kumarba Kids YouTube channel gets TV anime next April. Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy Season 2's video reveals 10 new cast members. Moving on to Wednesday, An Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride anime's teaser unveils cast, staff, 2024 airing. Detective Pikachu franchise gets anime short by Polygon Pictures. Okay. Nice to see Detective Pikachu's going strong there. June Fukuyama, Daisuke Namikawa. Oh, The Eminence in Shadow, second season anime reveals more cast. And we'll just skip by the anime and manga releases. Nazuna Miki's Mukuware Nakata Murabito Kizoku Ni Hirowate Dekai Sarue Ue Ni novels get anime. They better learn to shorten that up for something, because that is way too long of a title. Crunchyroll to stream That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Coleus Dream anime. Anaris Quinones to no longer voice Yoruichi in Bleach. 1000 Year Blood War animes English dub update. Oh, right. There was a whole thing going on about that. Wendy Lee was losing her mind about it, I guess, because she wasn't asked, or they wanted to go with completely new voice actors. Anyways. WarioWare Move It games trailer previews modes. Oh, those are fun. I played the one for the Switch. Pretty fun games for sure. One Piece Film Red jumps back to number 1 in tickets sold with encore screenings. Man, oh man. Which is pretty funny because Mrs. Mechanic, myself, we watched the One Piece Film Red on Blu-ray yesterday. Sauna's Sakuma-kun mascot gets anime in November. Netflix unveils Onmyoji anime's visual clean ending sequence. Koei Tecmo announces Dynasty Warriors M mobile game. Oh yeah, great. Man, Dynasty Warriors. That is just the franchise that just keeps on going, but now they're doing a mobile game. Persona 3 Reload game trailer highlights Akihiko. For all you Persona fans, probably liking the remakes that are coming out. Moving along to Thursday, Shura Anime's character promo video reveals 2 more cast, opening, ending theme songs. Aniplex releases Rurouni Kenshin Anime's English dub trailer. Yes, because they did a whole new redo on the Rurouni Kenshin. Sino Alice game ends service. Japan manga also ends in 6th volume. On Gaku, our sound director Kenji Iwasa makes new anime film Before Hina is Beautiful. Utano Princess Sama Shining live smartphone game in service gets Switch release. Okay. Another phone game that ends service. Bushy Road confirms Card Fight Vanguard will plus Dress Season 3 animes English dub. Yes, and we already read earlier again, Anaris Quinones will no longer voice Yoruichi in Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War. Moving to Friday, Digimon Adventure 2, the beginning anime film's first 4 minutes streamed with English subtitles. For all you Digimon fans out there. Gushing over Magical Girls anime's main promo video reveals more cast, January 2024 debut. The Fire Hunter anime second season previewed in new teaser video main visual. Blue Lock episode, Nagi anime film casts Subaru Kimura. Attack on Titan, the final chapters, part 2 anime finale to be 85 minutes long. Ugh, just end already. I can't believe how long this has been drawn out for Attack on Titan. Just end. Pokemon Horizons anime unveils new visual updated ending theme. Yes, it's no longer the adventures of Ash and Pikachu. Now there's new people to root for. Poupelle of Chimney Town film gets New York screening with creator upcoming NYC Broadway run of stage play. The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You anime's English dub reveals cast premiere. So this is, I've been watching this, and this is really funny. I'm enjoying the show. Saturday now, Attack on Titan, the final chapters, part 2 anime's main trailer streamed. Yeah, good for you. Capcom develops new Rex game engine. Well, as long as you make good games, Capcom. Spy Family anime previews cruise adventure arc in promo video. It looks like they're going to go on a cruise. That could be fun. Kumiko Watanabe replaces Keiko Yamamoto as Saze-san's Hanazawa. Blue Exorcist Shimane Illuminati Saga anime's new video unveils Overworld opening song. And now we're here at Sunday. Demon Slayer Mugen Train Arc, Dr. Stone New World Part 2 anime to run on Toonami. Japanese animation TV rankings. Okay. Let's have a look at that. The One Piece film Z anime aired on Fuji TV on Saturday, October 21st at 9 p.m. It earned a 4.1% rating. Well, nothing to sneeze at. I've seen it. It's pretty good. First up, Saze-san, followed by Chibi Maruko-chan, Detective Conan, One Piece, right in the middle, Doraemon, Firefighter Daigo, Rescuer in Orange, Frieren Beyond Journey's End. That's another one I've been watching, and I've been really enjoying that one. Next up, Soaring Sky Pretty Cure, Crayon Shin-chan, Oshiri Tentai, and Animated Usaru no George, or Curious George. So there you go. There's the list there. This next article, bottom tier character Tomozaki second stage anime reveals key visual dialogue plus theme song info. Madoka Magica, Walpurgi Schnat Rising anime films teaser 1.1 reveals Madoka in magical girl form. Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill anime gets second season. And I know a lot of you have been waiting for this. Japan's video game rankings, October 16th to 22nd. I'm pretty sure we can all guess that Super Mario Wonder is going to be like the absolute top. There he is, number one, Super Mario Brother Wonder. 638,634 copies to be at number one. Number two, for the PS5, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I haven't heard a lot of good things about Spider-Man 2. I heard they did pretty bad at the character designs. So, yeah. Super Mario Brothers Wonder is at number one. PS5, Marvel's Spider-Man number two. Followed up by Jinsei Game for Nintendo Switch, then Pikmin 4. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still going strong at number 5. Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Minecraft, Detective Pikachu Returns, Sonic Superstars, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, World of Horror. I've never heard of that one. Splatoon 3 at number 12, Mario Party Superstars, then Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, EA Sports FC 24, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Pikmin 1 and 2, Nintendo Switch Sports, Ring Fit Adventure, and at the bottom, a PS5 game, EA Sports FC 24. So there you go. Once again, Nintendo dominating. They brought out an excellent game, and it tells by the weekly copies that have been bought, it just destroyed everything else on the list. And with good, with all right too, because it's a good game. I have yet to pick it up myself, but I will. So there you go. That is video game rankings. And that is the news of the week. Kind of blazed through it. There really wasn't anything that was too crazy that I wanted to dig into further. You know, it's just the news of the week, so anything can change at any time. And now I'm going to head over to AnyList. See what's going on there. So over on AnyList, can everybody see okay? A bit more there. You can see what's airing. I'm behind a little on a few because the episodes, I'm only one episode behind. I'm 298 episodes behind One Piece, so that'll take a bit of catching up to do. But I am watching it daily throughout the week. And it is, or I should say, the ones I'm watching right now, Stardust Telepath. Oh, and we have our first chatter coming in here. This is the fellow that is in charge of the ice house. And if you all will excuse me for a moment, I have to go get batteries for my mouse because the batteries have died, but I will be back. All right, I am back. I've got fresh pair of batteries, and of course, wouldn't you know it, that that it would happen right at the time somebody was coming on here. I mean, thanks a lot, Fate. Definitely taking a good hand into it here. There we go. Got the batteries in. Mouse doesn't run on maple syrup. No, Godzillionaire, it does not. And yes, here we are, the host of the Ice House.
Check.
Punkwaddle.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. I want to run on maple syrup this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Sound like you're pretty beat.
Well, you know, it was we had a good Halloween show last night. We had a full panel on the Cotton Council. It's kind of yeah, it was kind of fun.
I saw that. It was good.
And then the night before I hung out with Nerdporial, and then did Fajita Fridays, and yesterday did a bit of family stuff all day. So been waddling around a bit.
You're a busy penguin.
hmm hmm else I've been doing is watching a lot of anime this year, this season.
Well, I'm interested to hear what you've been watching.
Cool. I know you just pulled up the anime list. I don't know if you were trying to go on anything specific.
Just going through what I've been watching.
Gotcha.
And I know I don't. I don't know if I watch it like what everybody else watches. There's everybody's got different tastes. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I have been watching Stardust Telepath. Kind of not bad. I'm not sure if I'm going to drop it just yet. It's this girl. She's really shy. She doesn't think she belongs on Earth, and she wants to talk to aliens. And this one other girl comes up and says she's an alien.
No.
So it's and she can, like, when they touch their foreheads together, she can, like, sense her thoughts and feelings, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, for someone that's a shy and all that, I mean, that's a good way for someone to understand what's going on with them, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting. I haven't tried
Yeah.
that one yet.
Godzilla, are you looking for Chainsaw Man on there? Yes, you know my distaste for Chainsaw Man, Godzillionaire.
I still haven't watched any Chainsaw Man.
It's not something that I think I would like. Just it got way too much hype and it didn't deliver, is what I gather from it.
Yeah, like there's a lot of cosplay and a lot of gore interest and a lot of I don't know.
Yeah, I can't do the gore.
I can do some of okay, so going into some things I've been watching, right? Have you watched any of the Kingdom in Ruin?
No, I don't believe I have.
So no, Brandon was talking about that a little bit, and I feel like my app just died. So I started watching it and it's basically about witches versus humans, and the premise is that witches were given by God to guide the humans, which is an interesting take to begin with. But they always play with lore in these animes and the spiritual to physical realm, like okay, this type of, and so you've got basically a glorified a big witch hunt put on by the government of this country, this kingdom, and then you see this guy that's apparently a human that also is learning how to do magic, but you kind of through watching the first episode find out his limitations because he's human, of what magic he can use, what spells he can cast. And then they get captured, and then he watches some really rough things, and he gets basically imprisoned for like 10 years. Second episode, you see him kind of break out and want revenge on everyone and hates everyone that basically took his life and his world away. So, but the art, the way it's drawn, the style is really grabbing me in. So stylistically, I really love it, and there's enough of a trope, and there's enough of a character. Obviously, motivation. Is it just going to be straight revenge? I want to kill everything, or is there going to be some elements added to it that maybe he finds humanity too in the process? I don't know. It's enough of a thing that I'm interested.
Yeah, it makes, if you want character development. Sorry, what was the name of it again? Magical Dungeon? Or
The Kingdom is in Ruin.
Kingdom is in Ruin? Way off.
Kingdom. Let me see. Did those batteries just die? No, I think.
Kingdom of Ruin. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Science versus magic. Okay.
I mean, an age-old debate.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems fresh enough or fun enough of the characters they're developing that it's not just, you know, being told the same story in the same way
Yeah.
or in a boring way.
No, it looks good. Right on. Yeah, Brandon's watching it, it says.
Hmm.
Oh, Serrano's dropped it. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. And Godzilla says it kind of reminds him of Witch Hunter Robin. Wow, that's a throwback. I remember watching that on TV.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I think I have it on DVD as well. No, that's good one to keep in mind if anybody's interested in that. I mean, like you say, the character designs, they look pretty good.
Oh yeah. Like I said, visually, it's on the level of things that I like. I enjoy watching. Because I don't know if I've talked to you because I know I've been in the chat some, but like the old Berserk style is okay, but the new Berserk, the new what is it, Demon Slayer, that kind of choppy. It's emulating that kind of fast rate film, rate or.
Like the frame rate there, it's
That's what
they
I'm trying to say. I am tired. But of live action movies, but to me, it just gets so choppy that it is unpleasant to watch for me personally.
Yeah, I'm for sure, and that would be the cause of somebody just dropping it as well, being like, I just can't do this. This is what are they
'Cause
doing here?"
there's so many people that have gotten to anime. I mean, because they weren't born until like the year 2000, but the stuff that's, like the old Gundams and stuff in the 80s and 90s that they don't, if they don't really know the source material, they don't really care enough, they'll drop it right away. And there's some really great stuff that I've gone back to and enjoy. But at the same time, even I had to take a while to kind of fall in love with a franchise or an idea or the characters to go in and really take the time and if it's good story, certain art or certain styles you can get past. But the
Mhm.
medium does affect the message in so many ways.
Yep, and I've known some people that are like, "Oh, I won't watch One Piece because I don't like the character designs." And it's like, "Wow, okay."
Hmm. Yeah, even they evolve over the years because they've been
Yeah.
doing for how many decades?
2 at least, so 26
Hmm.
years, 25 years. It's pretty awesome how long it's been going for.
So they're not as old as The Simpsons, but they probably have more storylines and more depth to the characters.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, if you're gonna watch from, like, episode 1 until 1000, you're the it's unbelievable, you learn so much backstory of every single character.
mm, yeah, you do. And it looks like our waifu hunter has made it to the chat.
Yep. Welcome, Jake D. And Godzillion says, "Kinda like Yu Yu Hakusho, you gotta give it 10 plus episodes to really get into it."
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
still in like episode like 3.
I remember that when that was on television, Yu Yu
Mhm.
Hakusho, and I'm like, this seems pretty neat." Uh, that's the one where the guy has, like he points his finger at
Yeah,
yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, no, that's good.
Snacks and Friends, big fan of it too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think Ronin66 likes it as well, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Jake D, Kingdom of Ruin. What? What? What's
It
wrong with it?
Well, okay, so the part that got it to my when you talked about blood and gore, there are some early episodes of his Straight Revenge where you see people getting destroyed, and it kind of reminded me of what the third Transformer movie, where you see more people just dying in the streets, and you don't see their actual death, but you see enough of all the destruction. It's almost kind of a turning point in even our television of movies, that the rating didn't change because it was Transformers, but there was this, if you thought about all the people in the streets and all this, the the buildings and everything being destroyed and all the people that were probably dying there, there was kind of a depth to it that
Oh,
got lost. But in this anime, it kind of draws attention to just how angry he is and how much he's attacking indiscriminately the people. So there is this a senseless or mindless rage sort of moment, where
okay.
you can, if you turn it off, you can get through it. But if it's, you value human life in one of those ways that no matter how you see it, what medium, it could affect you too. It's just, it can. There's a couple moments of intensity, but then there's also, like I said, maybe there's a pull at whose humanity as well somewhere in there.
Let's hope so. I mean, that's yeah, like I say, sometimes some of these ones that are get really I don't know, really graphic and gory and stuff like that, it's just like, maybe I'm not up for this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why Godzilla says that's why he wasn't too high on Invincible. Besides wokeness, they really amped up the gore over the comic. Oh yeah, I saw my
Hmm.
buddy showed me a clip of that at work, and I was just like, "Whew, I don't need to watch this. That's okay."
I did not know they had a second season, and I apparently their third season's just about to drop, and I probably am not gonna watch that either. It's like the same thing with The Boys.
Oh
For, I
yeah,
know we're talking anime because they're run by similar people and over at Amazon stuff. It's just so much. Eh, like that's not why. Well, that's not what entertains me.
no, no, not at all. I mean, I'm old enough to. I've seen a lot of stuff. Okay, I've seen a lot of
Oh, you've
things
been around the
over
block, okay.
over my life, I've seen a lot of things, and I've decided that, you know what? I don't need to see all that kind of stuff. It's okay. I need to see happy and good stuff because
Hmm.
keeps your brain in the right mindset. You don't need to traumatize yourself with things like that.
Yeah, it's like I had an angsty teen time, and I may still be a punk, but that kind of, the difference between just being angsty and kind of being, I don't know, a punk to stand up for your own morals, is there's a point where you actually remember you care about human life and you actually care about certain values, and you're not just being angry and yelling at everything for the sake of it.
Yes, that's really very well put. Yeah, I mean, yes, we go through all that. Yes, I was a teenager. I went through the teen angst years and all that kind of stuff. But, you come out on the other side of that and you're like, okay, yes, human life is precious and it can be taken away in an instant. And, as you get older, I probably say this way too much, but as you get older, you, you're like, I am a lot closer to having a foot in the grave than not. So maybe I better do something worthwhile, and uh, enjoy the time I have left, and all that kind of stuff. It happens. It's happened to me. So,
Hmm.
you were those teen angst years in black and white?
Well,
Godzillionaire, you son
I,
of a gun, you.
here's the thing. I did, the first time I dyed my hair, well, I mean, when it wasn't purple, because we were just gonna go with that, was my natural hair color from the start. I came home with my hair dyed purple, not just white. I was, no, I'm sorry, it was dyed blue, and my mom was a little miffed at me because I had stayed out. I was supposed to be grounded, and I stayed out all day, hang out with my friends, and I came home at like 6 or 7 o'clock, and yeah, because I was supposed to be grounded. So no, I never wore stripes, but I've always been black and white. See, it's how I ended up being a sheriff. I see some sort of structure and law.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah, hope that answers your question.
Yeah. The boys ruined the great twist ending the comics had for no apparent reason. Oh, well, I never watched The Boys. I don't care about. I guess what it is like I don't care about evil Superman. Like great. You got the most powerful being in the universe, and he's going to go around and kill people. I'm like, I don't want to see that. That's not what I want. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to switch her back to a little bit of the
Yeah,
anime there.
go for it.
I've been watching 16-Bit Sensation, Another Layer, and
Mhm.
right off the bat, I love time travel. Like, whether it's reading the books about it or watching movies about time travel,
Okay.
so much fun to me. And this is a time travel one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you watched Tuned
S
In to see this?
so, I watched the first 5, 10 minutes to see how she's back in the '90s, and she's like, "What's going on?" Um,
Hmm.
I think there are some times when it's past 1 o'clock and I'm thinking I wanna watch a show, but I've kinda watched all the current stuff, and sometimes I'll kinda start watching an episode and realize I'm too tired to understand what's going on, but kinda get the premise of it. I think that's one of those nights.
Yeah, no, this is great. And for me, obviously, when you watch somebody go back to the 90s, you're like, I remember that. I remember
Mhm.
that. I remember that. And just watching her freak out and I'm just kind of wondering where it's gonna go. And I think no, I'm probably behind an episode. But just watching like she's a game designer or she's an illustrator, and she's gonna go back in time to the peak of Bishojo games where
Uh-huh.
everything is nobody's making them in her time. But back then she's like, oh, this is great. I can help make a game. And she tries to show everybody her drawings, which are on her tablet, but her tablet is dead. It's got no battery power. She can't show anybody anything.
Doesn't have
But
a
yeah.
charger because it's
Yep,
too advanced.
exactly. It's like
That's funny.
nobody knows what USB-C is or nothing like that. Oh, yeah.
That that's interesting, kinda like their take on the member berry stuff, but in a fun way.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes I mean, it's a fun watch. I really enjoy it. What's Jake D what are they saying here? There's no way Superman would be good. It's all in environment you're raised in, Jake D.
Mhm,
Come on
mhm.
now. When you realize the '90s were 30 years ago. Yeah, Matt Damon meme, anybody?
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Well, let's just say some of us who were born in the '80s are looking at that hill top of the hill real close.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Mhm.
Um, it's funny on when I'm on Blaine's Escape Corner, and he's naturally everyone is younger than me on there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember watching Naruto as a kid," and then I have to pipe in and be like, "Not all of us were kids when we watched Naruto."
Yeah. This wasn't it it's funny when you think about the formative years. There's the junior high, high school, and there's the college stuff. And so depending on where you were and what you got out of some of those shows were well written, and even the dubs were enough that like there's enough innuendo that as a kid you get it, but the older you get, you really understand what they're saying.
Yeah,
And going back and watching some of that stuff, you're like, oh wow, it was all here. Like the '90s weren't as innocent as you think; they were just a little less direct.
yeah, more subtlety, right? They were able to do things. You're like, ah, I get it. Yeah.
Mm. Pop went to school with Charlie Chaplin.
Remember silent film as a kid? Hey, settle down there, Jake D. I'm not that old. Jeez. This the sexy Jutsu Godzillionaire? What was
Uh,
the Great Depression like in Canada?
wow,
Uh, I'm sure glad
lot.
I didn't live through those years.
Yeah, the maple ran dry.
Yep. Yep. Another one I've been watching was Frerin Beyond Journey's End. And this one, man, this could be have some like existential like you're thinking about, because this elf in this she's so long lived that everyone she quests with eventually passes away.
Okay.
And then she was like, "Oh, well, I really didn't get to know them that well." And
Oh.
she takes on an apprentice and some other people that come with her now on a journey back to where she had taken her original quest with their four original. They're all pictured here. Her
Mhm.
four original uh, quest mates, I guess you'd call them, or and it's pretty. And time passes. It tells you how many years since the last person died and all that, and it's just like, wow, it's pretty crazy.
Interesting, because that's a I don't know, for some reason, the way that's being explained, the way you're explaining it kinda reminds me of, like, the whole Doctor Who thing when it was good, having different companions that kinda phase out, but this is a different fantasy sci-fi, more of a
Yes.
fantasy setting, and a lot of people have told me this is very visually striking, this is really good, and it seems like every week it just gets better. It's on my short list, I just haven't got to it yet, but I'm probably gonna be binging it
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and start catching up soon.
I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I feel it's pretty darn good, and it's like, wow, what they did a good job.
I am a pondering penguin, so if, existential crisis is your game, I'll I'll be there.
Yeah, you're the one to go see. Got to go see him at the Ice House, everybody.
Yeah. No, I used to have friends that would call me, like, I used to travel all the time and be on
Mm.
the road, and obviously, living in a hotel, getting my own room, I kinda had a lot of free time, and then be like, "I'm having an existential crisis." I was like, "Okay, it's not that big of a deal, but I get it's a big deal to you, but okay, let's talk about it."
Lay down on the couch here and tell me your problems. What do you think about what was your relationship with your mother?
Mhm.
Freud waddle. There you go.
Ooh, that sounds
Uh,
like an idea for Halloween next year
yeah, there you go.
or something. Yeah, alright, anyway, back to more anime.
Yes. I am slowly watching Science Ninja Team Gotchaman
Okay.
from 1970. What was it? 72.
Mhm.
So what I'll do is I'll get up in the morning before I go to work. I've got quite a bit of time, so I'll sit back and watch an episode before I go to work. And
Yeah.
this is awesome because it's like a group, right? A group of five heroes that take
Mhm.
on the what's called Galactor, and they are trying to take over the Earth, and these guys are fighting back.
Well, what year was this made?
1972.
Yeah, I know it's on High Dive, so
Oh, there you go.
it's one of I've been thinking about starting it, but it's like this and Galactic Hero and some of these older ones that have so many episodes. Like you said, you just have to carve out a slot once or twice a week where you just watch a few episodes, otherwise you'll never get to it.
That's right. And we do the same thing for One Piece. Mrs. Mechanic and myself, we when we're having dinner, we watch 2 episodes and then we stop and, that's it. Then we wait till the next day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Eh,
That's one way to do it.
yeah, I wish I haven't got the sugar waddle into anime, um, so we'll see if I get that or not
Oh, yeah.
over the years.
Well, it's funny, Mrs. Mechanic, she was not a One Piece fan,
Mhm.
but she would see me, like, play the games, and she'd walk in with me watching it, and
Mhm.
she'd stop, and she'd get mesmerized by it,
Oh, yeah.
and then she'd be like, "Why am I feeling feelings for this thing?" She's like, "I don't even go here." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's okay. That's alright." And, eventually she's like, "Can you let me watch the next arc?" And I'm like, "Yep, you betcha."
Does she also like, Mean Girls then?
Mean Girls?
Yeah,
Like,
the
whether she
movie.
watched Mean Girls?
So, the sorry, there's a line of "You don't even go here"
Oh,
during the trust fall scene that is engraved in my mind, so when you said, "You don't even go here," that's what I heard.
that's her thing. She probably got it from Mean Girls. I mean, I didn't watch Mean Girls, but I'm pretty sure that's where she probably got it from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
no,
very good quotable line.
no, she's great. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better, waifu, so But it was
Awesome.
just funny. It's just funny that she got captivated by it, and now she's right in there, and she's like, "Can we watch all the movies?"
Nice.
I'm like, "Okay."
All right. I will inceptionize Sugar Waddle. Maybe I'll leave some candy on the couch, and she'll be like,
Ooh,
I
what's
like
this?
candy. Yeah.
Ooh, piece of
Well,
candy.
there's anime. I'll watch it. Yeah. My
Um,
diabolical mastermind.
yeah. What's Jake D saying? He saw that that was the first Cartoon Network thing you ever saw. Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Okay. They called it G-Force. Yes, yes. Or Battle of the Planets. When it came out in 78.
Okay.
So if we show women One Piece, will we get the girls? You might.
Uh, at it. Well, it depends. So, as long as we're not talking about a euphemism, and also in this scenario, she was already waifu, and then liked One Piece. So I don't know chicken or the egg here. If it's getting the waifu and then getting to like anime, or showing them the anime will get you a waifu. Um, you can test with that, Jake D.
Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've heard this story before about how I met Miss Mechanic, but we were at a anime convention, and
Nice,
that's where I met her.
good start.
We were dressed up from the same show, which was Black Butler. I was Sebastian, and she was Madame Red. And
Nice.
we got a picture together, and we found each other. Um, because of that photo, I was like, "Oh, hey, are you going to the convention in this town?" And she's like, "No, but I am going to this one." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I live there. I'll see you there." So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, it was great. And then yeah, just everything sprouted from there. We went on a date without our costumes.
This is what
Just-
you actually look like. Okay.
yeah. Oh, that's what you look like. Ooh, ooh. No, it all worked out very well. Yeah, very
Yeah.
well. And then yeah, she was into manga and anime, and she had her shows that she liked. And like I say, when she finally got captivated by One Piece, you know, that was great.
Mhm. Well, that's a lifetime of fun there. So that's
Oh
cool.
yeah. Oh, definitely. And yeah, she's a reader, like an avid reader. So she
Okay.
has a lot of books and a lot
Mm.
of manga.
I, right as I hopped in, I saw you were talking about the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love me.
Oh yes.
That's probably not the best dating advice there, Jake D. Um, Asking girls to date other girls while you're dating them, just just because they're some guy screwed up on how many soulmates you have. I don't think they're gonna understand that or accept that logic.
No, no. Generally not. But
Yeah.
yes, this show, 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, like I am laughing my ass off for this show. Like it is oh, what a just a silly what a silly show to enjoy, you know?
Well, and there's this one. I think there's a couple other another girlfriend or something, right? That's getting a
Yeah,
second
yep.
season.
I've heard of
Like
that.
so, and I've watched some of the first couple episodes of that one just to see what it was. But it's like these these silly takes on harem anime that it's like, okay, we get that it's overdone. We get that it's like, all right, some of it's a bit crude and lewd, but then there's also the more realistic of, I mean, this isn't quite realistic, but it's a little more, how would somebody actually react in this situation? Not just, I'm in a fantasy world and these fox girls don't understand anything about humanity. That's a bit much, right? Because I think
Yeah.
these things are, um, when you think about the hormones and how beings behave, I think that especially if it's a very human, you know, personified uh, beast creature, I think they get the raw emotions of the universal things pretty well. So the fact that you know some you know teen guy gets all that he wants and people don't understand in their little animes is a bit overkill. So yeah, this is, yeah, entertaining.
It is, and the fact that, you know, he got turned down 100 times, I mean, the poor guy, no matter what he
Yeah.
tried, you know, and they're like, "Oh, no, never with
Mhm.
you," and it's just like, "Oh."
It's like his
Uh,
his karma got
yeah,
switched.
yeah, like, hard. It got switched over, it's like, "Okay, we're gonna bump you up to, you know, crank her up to 11, and there you
Mhm.
go." But yeah, I enjoy it. If you guys out there haven't seen it, you know, give it a shot. It's hilarious. When they play the Pocky game, that is hilarious, you know? When she makes him some cookies and she tries to feed him a cookie, it just I just,
Oh, yeah.
couldn't stop laughing. Oh, so good.
The and I do enjoy that the original 2 characters are the sweet and then the tsundere is what
The
we call them?
tsundere, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
angry, just
Yeah.
angry, like, "I'm not gonna admit my feelings. I like you,
Mhm.
but shut up."
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's another good one. Oh, Overtake. This one, F4 Racing. This is a fun one.
Okay.
You know, if you don't know anything, and I don't know anything about racing. Uh,
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was like I only thought there was like kart and like F1 racing, but no, apparently there's like numbers like F1, F2, F3, F4, and this takes place in the F4 bracket.
Oh, yeah. I've watched a little bit of Top Gear,
Oh yeah,
and
there you go.
they talk about some of the different stuff, and yeah, like different classes, and then also different parts of Europe during the Cold War and all the different stuff where or even, World War II or all this stuff where countries didn't interact with each other, so they created their own versions of stuff. It's
Ah,
really
okay.
interesting and yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, and when I watch it, like very clean animation, like really good, and
Mhm.
everything is very well. It must be computer generated because all the writing and everything on all the billboards and everything very crisp. You can tell, you know, and real life sponsors, you know, use Pirelli and Sony,
Okay.
Panasonic, all that stuff. Like everything is very well spelled out. Like there's no like sometimes they put like names that are kind of like Sonia,
Ye
you know, and stuff
yeah,
like
which
that.
is hilarious. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and
Okay.
they don't do it that way, and so it's about this, I think this photographer, he goes and takes pictures, or he won't take pictures of somebody because of a past tragedy that's happened. Like,
Okay.
he has a problem taking pictures of people, but
Hmm.
he finally does because there's this the young driver, and
Oh,
he doesn't make it, or he doesn't finish in the top 3 or anything like that. He comes in last. I can't remember what it was, but he takes a picture of him and he's crying, and they take that photo and they run with it. And, you know, it becomes, you know, it kind of blows up and it gets them, they didn't have any kind of sponsors, but it gets them a sponsor, you
okay.
know, and yeah, it's just his overwhelming optimism, you know, is kind of he's trying to get that team to get some sponsors, and because he wants to see the kid finish first in a race.
See, that's the thing about anime. It's like they have a story with characters, and it's not just like I said. The racing aspect doesn't appeal to me, but you see somebody who enjoys racing, who's in the thing, and you see the like I said, it's focused on characters. It's focused on certain storyline development. It's not just like, hey, let's watch some cars, animate
Mhm.
cars for the heck of it. Like so many of these shows, because once you actually watch them and get into what the character story arc and what their actual motivation is, sometimes the premise doesn't do it justice for what it's doing and all the effort that goes into it.
Yeah, and it's nice to see, like, you know, you'd think, "Oh, there's the good team and the bad team," but no, like, the teams aren't like that. People aren't, like, you know, trying to sabotage everybody and stuff like that. There's nothing like that, not like a good team, bad team kinda thing. Yeah, they're competitive against each other, you know, and, of course,
Mm,
some guys have attitudes and some guys don't, you know, and it's just it's a nice breath of fresh air to see that kinda interaction between the characters, you know, when they're not, well, you know, when they're racing and when they aren't racing, because, you know, I watched one episode where, you know, he's going up against the top team, and the guy, he's the second driver. He's not the number one driver of the team. And so of course, he harbors some ill will towards the top driver. And he's also angry at anybody that's trying to pass him or make him look bad. So it's like, yeah, there you go. The guy has like a 3-dimensional personality, and you can see his motivations, not just because, oh, I'm a jerk because I'm a jerk. That's it.
Yeah, and it only takes a couple lines and a couple visual aids for people to understand that sort of thing in the medium and storytelling. So yeah, they do so much with so little. And then I think, I don't know if Jake D feels ignored, but keeps asking
Oh,
about the waifus.
waifus. Of course, JT always asks about waifus. That's his first question when I introduce a show. He's like, "Does it have waifus? Does it have them?"
Yeah.
There is one girl on the team, but I don't know. I mean, they really don't, go out of their way. I don't remember seeing any F1 girls or racing queens or anything like that. But then again, they've only been at like, well, no, I was going to say they haven't been at any large competitions, but I mean, it is F4. Show is trash then. Yikes. Harsh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's Overtake. Here's one here. Shy. This is I don't know if you've heard of this one.
I watched the first 2 episodes, which I hear you need to get to the 3rd to kind of get over that hump.
Okay.
How many have you watched?
I think I'm caught up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because what I hear a lot of people complaining about is that the first 2 episodes kind of feel redundant, but I'll say this. I think in some ways, to see the events of the first episode, and then at the towards the end of the second episode, it's kind of getting rehashed, but the storyline's still playing out, and I feel like by the end of the second one, you see potential for something of the show. Yeah, I can see how. I don't know. It kind of made me wonder if I wanted to go to the third one, but at the same time, I can see how it's set up for a character development and storyline to go somewhere.
Yes, I think you'll be surprised with the third one because I believe that's when she gets called up to the satellite and has to do a little bit of a proving ground for herself.
Okay.
But the mysterious boy, they explain a little bit more about that. So yeah, I mean, the fact that, I guess maybe it's just me, but it's just like, oh, okay, here we go, another shy protagonist, can't talk, can't speak her feelings. It's like, it gets me just wound up. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh. But I'm enjoying it. I want to see more superheroes. Like, I know they had the one from Japan, they got one from Russia, one from England. I want to see the Canadian one. Do they have the Canadian superhero? I want to see that one.
I feel like this is a G Gundam all over again, but slightly more PC but not really, because that the Russian one was pretty drunk.
Yeah, I can see her with the vodka all the time. She's like just chugging it back, and it's like, yeah, okay.
I mean, maybe it is G record, or yeah, yeah, you know what I mean.
Finally, some quality entertainment, Jake D. And welcome, Irate Specialist.
How you doing?
Nice to see you. There's a Canadian Gundam in G Gundam. Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, there is. Oh yeah, I mean, G Gundam is great for all the stereotypes, and that was what 20, 30 years ago. Yeah, 30ish. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I haven't watched G Gundam, so
It's beautifully absurd and silly, and the Mexican Gundam, Tequila Gundam, is one of the first 3 or 4 episodes, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've seen that one. Blaine uses that as his spoiler Gundam, but yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm usually at work when Blaine does his stuff or eating dinner, so I miss it. But I know he's got a lot of good stuff. I try to catch his stuff every now and then.
Yeah, it's good. He right now he's in Japan and he's sending a lot of shorts over about his trip there. So, it's pretty neat. We can still sort of keep up with what he's doing.
Cool.
Its pilot has magnificent beard and is lumberjack. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and and I think I rate specialist, but he does. I feel like he's one of those guys who does those memeing things, and I feel like somebody finally. I can't remember who did it. I don't know if it was you or somebody that put Mexican Iron Man on Tequila Gundam a few months ago, and it was the thing that I've been waiting for a while.
We got to get some synchronicity, eh? It's here we go. We got Mexican Iron Man and Tequila Gundam.
Hmm.
Yeah. I've never seen Irate Specialist around.
Okay.
Honestly, just
Yeah.
finished
He.
watching Pluto on
Oh,
Netflix. Another
oh, nice.
classic by Naoki Urasawa. Okay.
He definitely hangs out in our chat and some of the like on Culture's channel, and he hangs
Oh,
out
okay.
in Snow's channel and stuff. So he's puppet friendly.
Ah, very good. Aren't we all though?
Hopefully, there's some
Yeah.
weirdos out there.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's Shy. And yeah, I was telling you about Stardust Telepath. I'll have
Hmm.
to wait and see how that goes. Like I say, the Shy protagonist is kind of grating on me, so I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
see where this goes.
Oh, so and I know between you and Brandon's chat, Uh, sometimes I forget who says what where. Um, but and I think we were talking about on Brandon's channel, but some of these intros just, and I feel like at some point we just need to have a big conversation about opener songs, like just opening themes for the last decade of who, what bands. Like,
Mm.
so what I feel is one of the best so far that I've experienced this year, one of the most bangers is Shangri-La Frontier. Um, their intro song just gets me pumped. It's pretty dang good. And then, have you watched any of the Shangri-La Frontier yet?
No, I have not.
So it's it's about a dive MMO game where the guy. So okay, it's really funny. The premise is he plays a lot of trash games with bugs, and he just loves to figure out glitches and how to beat a game. And you you see him. He just jumps into the games and just loves just crap that doesn't play right. And then somebody suggests him this new AAA Shangri-La Frontier game that's had been released for about a year, and there's all this stuff, and it works the way it's supposed to. It's using the full dive headgear that's we've been pretty commonplace to since what hack and Sword Art Online type style
Oh yeah.
animes. Um, so and like I said, visually it's really good, really fun. But there's just he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out. I don't care. Like he doesn't play games the way people normally play games. He's just gonna figure it out on his own and grind where he wants to. And since it's an open world sort of thing, it's fairly entertaining. And how he plays and versus other people following rules. He's like, I don't read the stuff. I don't know what's going on. And as he plays through, he's like, what is this? Oh, I guess that's what this means.
Lazy gamer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, so it's sort of like a dot hack kind of thing here. He's in the game world there.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where he can log out. It's not one of those, but it's just like he's he's doing things, he's creating instances, um he's finding different things about the game that people who have been playing for a year and have all their big guilds and trying to work through the stuff haven't figured out yet because he just plays the game differently. In some ways, like how in Sword Art they Kirito got awarded certain things because of his play style. So
Oh,
there's one of the things about this game that like how you play gives you different skills because you've earned certain things of how you fought. So there's just a little bit of his play style allows him to get things that other people maybe not have unlocked too.
okay.
Oh, we got a DJ Ronnie G in the house.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, DJ Ronnie G. Nice to see you. And what is irate specialist? That wasn't me. You put Mike on that judge in Mexico wearing Barbie garb. Okay. All right.
Okay, that was funny too.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you like. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
I was just gonna say I'm glad you like anime too. Irate specialist. I think he pops up in Brandon's chat sometimes.
Ah, yes. Yeah, and it was Brandon's birthday yesterday. I wished him a happy birthday. So he had a good celebration stream there. He started early. Like he started earlier than me.
Right. So I was actually ready to wake up and drink my coffee and hop on at the usual time. And when I showed up, he was already an hour and a half into it. I was like, holy crap, I gotta catch up.
Yeah. No, that was great. He started at like 8 o'clock my time, and I'm just like, oof. Really starting early.
I would have hopped in, but I had some stuff to do. So I really said hi and checked out.
And so yeah, Stardust Telepath. We'll see. The last episode I saw, they wanted to build a rocket to go into space. And I don't know if junior high girls can, do all the calculations necessary to build a rocket and take it into space successfully. So
Ain't no they ain't no Homer Hickam.
Yeah. They met up with a girl, the one with the the mechanic. So we'll see what happens if she can build them a rocket to go into space. We'll see how that goes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a mix of magic and science.
Yes. Could be. Spielberg did it in a movie. Hey, Cobra Khan. Nice to see you.
Hey. Yeah. Homer Hickam and the Rocket Boys, yeah.
What else? Have y'all seen Unemployed Reincarnation? Unemployed Reincarnation. That does not sound familiar to me.
Jobless.
Or is it Jobless? I've heard of that.
I think. You mean Jobless Reincarnation?
Mushoku Tensei? Jobless Reincarnation?
Yeah.
A lot of people are loving this show.
Nah, no worries. Could be a translation thing, but yeah, concept caught. Yeah. Let's see. I finally started the first season, and I am halfway through the first season.
Okay. Yeah, you know more about it than I do. I have not. I have not.
Brandon was ranting about it over the summer, and I finally caught up on it, or started catching up on it. Yeah, it's the guy. It's fun. It's one of those things where you get isekai'd and he kind of had a blah life, and then he's he's about as let's say he's like what, a 30-year-old who gets reborn in a new world, and he has a proficiency for magic, and because he has his 30 plus year old brain inside of a child, so he can pick up on things and learn things in language. And yeah, he acts like a 20-year-old in a lot of ways, and it's funny because he's dealing with adults and kids who see him as a kid, and they're kind of curious about what he understands.
Okay, there's been a few like that. Like that one I watched all the way through was "Am I Actually the Strongest?"
Yeah.
And I could see why Brandon would get upset about that, because his rule is baby can't do that. If you're a baby, you can't do things.
And I started watching that one, and then The Wolf Girl, and I don't know, I never kept watching it. Kind of dropped it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it had flashes for me, it had flashes of being excellent, but then
mhm,
they didn't do enough of magic battling, I think. In my eyes, it's like if you're the strongest, if your level is above everyone else's in the whole entire world,
mhm,
you know, you yeah, sometimes you have to flex that magic muscle and just, you know, stomp people down, but they didn't do that enough, I felt. So, I was disappointed.
yeah.
And Irate says, "If your eyes don't get a little wet by the end of the first season, I can't help you." Okay, so a
Okay.
little bit of sadness, a little bit of emotion going on there. That's not bad for an anime. You always want that.
Yeah.
There's actually character growth in this series. He grows up and matures. He has trauma that haunts him like a person, as things do. And the spoiler is he isn't the strongest. Oh, spoiler! Cobra Khan liked the Lelouch part in the "Am I the Strongest?" Yeah, yeah, where he dressed up in that costume.
Oh, I
Yeah,
haven't seen that, but okay.
no, yeah, he wants to hide his identity so that nobody knows who he is.
I still
So
need to watch the season 3 of the Lelouch, but for a while it wasn't on Netflix and a few other places, so I think I found where I can watch it now.
nice. That's the annoying thing is it's hard to find some of these.
Well, and what it was like a decade ago when, or maybe more, but in the 2010s, where Netflix would get the first season of an anime, they would get the rights to it, but they wouldn't have anything else ever. And so you're just like, I watched the first season of Fairy Tale. It seems, first 20 episodes of Fairy Tale. Oh, but they're on like episode something hundred right now. How do I catch up with that and all this stuff? Now they're slowly getting more of the One Piece, but if you're on, one of these other services or high seas that yeah, you can watch it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It's yeah, it's maddening sometimes because, it's like they didn't think it through. It's like, "Oh yeah, we'll get the first season." Well, why wouldn't you follow up with the second, third? And, there's Netflix, there's High Dive, there's
Hmm.
Tubi of all things. If you
Oh
guys
yeah,
can tune into Tubi, that's all right. They got quite a
Tubi's.
bit of
Yeah, I'm quite impressed with what Tubi has.
yeah, I mean, and it's got commercials, big deal. Oh well, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely and when I do my themes every month, like this month was cosplay,
Hmm.
and I have to like sometimes really dig and look really hard to find some of the shows that I want to see
Hmm.
because yeah, AniList will have them listed, but then to actually find them to see them, like
Right.
I've had to go to like archive.org of
Hmm.
all places, and they have had shows that I've looked for, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Archive."
Oh, and so, all right, specialist. For a while, High Dive had an edited version of Redo of Healer, but then I think they dropped that.
Oh,
But one of the current seasons, probably one of that I'm putting up there with Shangri-La Frontier, probably my top ones, just for art and story and interesting, is the Berserk of Gluttony.
okay.
So I think I raved enough to everybody how much I loved Reincarnated as a Sword
Oh, that was
earlier
excellent.
this year, and then yeah, I actually bought it on the physical media so I could have it. I think there was a sale during Amazon Day early in October where they had a lot of anime down 50 to between 30 and 50%. So that actually wasn't a bad price for it because sometimes it's so expensive.
Oh,
But
I know.
so that being said, Berserk of Gluttony. So yeah, if you look at the premise, everybody gets a skill, and they didn't really know what gluttony was because it seemed useless. He's just hungry all the time, and then he realizes he takes the life of the thief, and then it says gluttony skill activated, and then he starts basically taking on their skills and their attributes.
Oh,
So
does
he
he
doesn't.
have to eat people?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
So no, yeah. You think it's cannibalism, or you could be confused, but no, it's just when he kills another being, his power takes their attributes and their skills.
Okay.
So he doesn't level up the same way other people do, but becomes very, very powerful because he can just absorb their skills. And so it's a kind of a dark thing, but he also gets hungry, like he eats, but his skill is what makes him full, I guess. And he has to figure out how to often to
That sounds neat. Like really, like
but
you know,
the
and claiming their skill.
yeah, but in the second episode, like there's a lot more to it because there's um he he goes from being treating like a nobody to somebody actually valuing him, and then about the same time somebody actually values him as a person. He's realizing that he has a dark secret to keep. Then he goes out, somebody gives him some money for a job, and he goes out and buys a sword. And this isn't really a spoiler because I think it's the second episode, but the sword is is it greed? I think it's, or scroll down for the
Yeah, you're
characters.
right.
Yeah, the
It
sword
is.
is greed. So this is where it kind of relates to, like I said, almost kind of spoilers, but it goes pretty quick. But it's a sentient sword,
Okay.
and greed works in a similar way that he does. That for it to evolve, it has to it wants something. It so like I said, it's a little bit darker than the reincarnated as a sword because that's just one of those fun upwards and onwards. We're just gonna have fun and get OP and get more OP and more OP. This one's more of a struggle of how do I deal with this dark thing that I need to live and survive. Once it's activated, he can't take it back,
Mm.
and try to live a normal life with people that actually see him as valuable after being treated like crap for all of his life.
Yeah, okay. I wonder if all the 7 deadly sins are gonna show up because it's gluttony and greed.
Hmm.
Are we gonna have, lust and envy and wrath and all that good stuff?
It's definitely playing with that lore, so that's a great
Aha.
question.
Haha. What do we got going on in the chat here? Um, DJ Ronnie G, you'd hang out, but you're being accosted. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Mm.
Berserker Gluttony is a different take on Reincarnate as a slime series. Okay.
Okay.
It sounds familiar, but don't think you've seen it. I mean, I would give this a go just to see what it's all about. It's only 12 episodes.
I have not watched the Reincarnated as a Slime. I've watched a few episodes which seem interesting.
I think when I did my beach episode, I think I had Reincarnated as a slime when they went to the beach. So,
What kind of swimsuit did a slime wear?
not a very good one.
Fair enough.
But yes, the beach episode theme, that was fun. I like doing that, finding all the beach episodes of the animes out there, and yeah, some of them are really good.
Yeah, if it's a good, if it's a good slice of life anime, it's gotta have at least one beach episode, right?
I think that's the law.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Reborn as a Vending Machine? I watched a couple episodes and I
Oh, I
kind
was
of
just
just
gonna bring that up. But yes,
okay. Great
vending
minds.
machine for me, that was great. Like,
Okay.
it was fun. Just watching him, and he can't talk as like a
Mhm.
normal he only has like set phrases that he can use as a vending machine. So he has to try to communicate that way. And just watching his like the girl that finds him, Lamis, and she develops, a little like talking to him and just seeing what he can do. And she, as you can see, she packs him around.
Yeah.
He's not mobile by any means. And they're going to have a second season coming.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. It was very enjoyable. And the way he can just spit out stuff and change his inventory, and
yeah,
and if he runs out of if he you don't want him to run out of coins, because then I think he'll shut down. So he's got to be careful about that. And one of the guys that plays the captain, I was listening to his voice, and I'm like, I've heard that voice before. He's the guy. He's the Japanese voice actor of Zoro on One Piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, I thought that sounded familiar.
Nice. And speaking of voice actors, it's interesting. I think there's a lot more voice actors in the Asian market than there are for the dubs.
Yes.
Because there's so many studios that kind of borrow the same people, and it's awful when we lose one, like what I found out when I was watching the Rise of the Shield Hero, and I was watching the dubs, and then found out between the first and second season that unfortunately we lost a great voice actor in that, because he's had the cancer, and he found out he had stage 4 like throat cancer or something. I forget which kind. But he passed it on to somebody else, and the guy who took over is doing a great job. Very skilled, keeping similar tones. Like, it was noticeable at first, but now it's not really noticeable because the character still seems to present himself in a close enough way in the voice that it's believable. Which is, when you talk about some of the differences between the Asian voice actors, the Japanese voice actors, and how much emotion and effort they put into things, and how much pitch change, and some of the dub actors. Some of them are really great, which I think that was why they use them. But some of them, the emotion and everything feels so slightly dissonant from the character. Like, the words are there, but how they're presenting the situation doesn't feel quite right sometimes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I am I do like watching my subtitles, and I do like hearing the original voices that are used, because the way they convey their emotion and such, it's like, you know what? I really get it. You're not just reading a script and trying to, I have a job being a voice actor. You got to really put your emotion into it, and I really appreciate the way they do that in the Japanese voice acting world. What's going on here? Irate Specialist sounds familiar, but you don't think you've seen it. Cobra Khan, Slime has a predator skill which let him learn all the skills of everything he kills. Okay,
that makes
that's what that's what the connection is. And you watched it and you thought it was meh. You've watched a lot of worse anime. Yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully not. I mean, that brings up the thing of, like, if you're watching bad anime, just don't be afraid to drop it. Just like, that's it. I'm done.
Well, this goes back to the Shangri-La premise of, okay, there's stuff that is bad, but sometimes it's real. And I think that's why I also like the premise of, the guy likes trash games. Like, they're just glitchy, they're bad, the storyline sucks, like, the character's written poorly, but he enjoys just how bad it is. And so every now and then you watch something that's just like, this is terrible, but it's so entertaining. Somebody put the effort to make this, but it's just so bad. They've got to be self-aware that they're making this as some sort of, I don't know, mock slice of life, right? And you hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them, like, break. And you can tell, I guess, the ones that are like mocking the genre or whatever, they break the fourth wall and they're like, "Yo, why are we doing this?" "Oh, because,
Mhm.
it's a trope in every anime show and it's pretty funny." And then other ones that take themselves really seriously and are still bad, you're just like, "Oh."
Yeah. Like, you're trying so hard, but you missed the mark a little bit. Or
Yes.
you haven't decided what trope and genre you really wanna be.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Goblin Slayer is pretty straightforward. He goes and slays goblins.
It's in the title. I mean, yeah, that's and going on a throwback to like 90s stuff, like I watch Ninja Scroll and that was just awesome. Like
Mhm.
that, like what a good show that was. Um, and yeah, I did watch it dubbed because that's what you did back then. You got what you could take, and I got it on VHS and
Mhm.
watched it and very enjoyable. And the animation is top notch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have quite the list of um, shows that I've seen throughout the years, and sometimes you forget which ones you've seen, which is why I'm glad I have Annie list because then I can keep a running tab on whether I've watched something.
I probably should do that because every now and then, like with Tubi or something, when it resets or you log out or something, you're logging on a different thing that it forgot that you had started something.
Oh,
And like, or it's I watch something a couple episodes on Tubi, but then I'm over on High Dive and I'm like, have I seen this? And then go for the first 3 episodes and realize I did watch this just on a different server. Okay.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
some. Yeah.
What's Cobra Khan say? With subs, you can hear how the relation is between the characters depending if they use the different Japanese speech styles. Okay.
Yeah.
Anime can fool you. They have an amazing first season or first half, and the rest are trash, like Dead Man Wonderland. I That's the first time I've ever heard of that one. Dead
Yeah, I
Man
haven't
Wonderland.
watched I know of it, but I haven't watched it.
Okay. Oh, watching the hockey one was fun. Obviously being in Canada, watching Pride of Orange was great. It's girls hockey, but who cares? It's hockey. It's hockey in anime form. I had a great time watching that.
Okay, so did all the girls have all their teeth?
Yeah,
Because if they,
nobody took a puck to the mouth or anything like that, so we're
because
we're okay.
all right, because if they played if they played hockey and they didn't lose a teeth, then they can't be girl bosses because obviously
Yeah.
they're not as intense and are better than men.
Well, it's good. They take an interest in it, and they all they get a transfer student to come on the team, and then they're going to take on that transfer student's old team. So it's pretty exciting. And like I say, I'm a hockey fan, so it was nice seeing the anime version of hockey.
Hmm.
So
It's like, yeah, when they get the 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 shows of the girl squad, like the girls in Panzer and stuff, where it could be really intense and it could be really just, I don't know, totally over the top testosterone, and it's like, no, it's we're seeing it from a slightly different viewpoint, and it doesn't feel like a role reversal. It doesn't feel like a gender swap. It's just here. This could happen in real life too.
hmm yep, yeah, it's very down to earth. I liked Pride of Orange. It was very fun. And like I say, when they did the hockey stuff, it was like, yeah, this is awesome. They're out on the ice doing that.
Mm,
But
that's
yeah,
weird what they're up to.
there's yeah, people talk a lot about Girls und Panzer or Azure
Uh
Lane.
huh. Yeah.
Myself, I prefer Kantai Collection or Kankole.
Mm-hmm.
Season 1 and season 2. Season 2 is a little shorter, only 8 episodes, but
Okay.
it impacted me pretty good. Like the very last episode,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh yeah, this is
Well,
something.
I've watched a couple episodes of both of them, and it feels like Ezra Lane is more just like these are. these are girl ships, and kind of a big, wider view of things. But in the Can Cully, you've got somebody who's just climbing up the ranks, a new person, and it's like girls in high school, but they're also ships, right? So there's more of
Yes.
the. It's not just a tactical. Okay, you see these people, big picture tactical sort of thing. It's oh, okay, silliness. And what is the word, the trope where females are weapons? Because that is uh, interestingly all over the anime and the lore. I don't know.
What is it? Personification? Where
I just didn't know if there was a Japanese word for it
a
because, like,
Japanese I'm not sure myself. I'd have to
because
try to look
like
it up.
the one with the submarines where the girls are actually the AIs, and but they turn into the subs, but they're AI real people, and there's
Okay.
just all of this. Or I mean, there's premises where the girls are the weapons entirely, or they turn into weapons, and the guys have to do stuff. Like, I mean, you've got Darling and the Franks where they have to work together, and there's a kind of a, some innuendo there for sure.
Ah, yeah.
Um, and then I think Netflix had years ago when I was traveling that show Freezing. That's basically like, oh, the girls are badass weapons, but they need a dude to support them. That's kind of odd. But these sorts of tropes and premises are all over for, decades. So it's not like anything new.
Yeah, it's not new, but it's like, you know, okay, well, these are ships now, or these girls are
Mhm.
weapons, or these girls are cars, or whatever it happens. There's like the Derby one where they're like the girls
Yeah,
are horses.
like they're horse girls, but not the same kind of horse girls we have in the West.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it, and if anybody else gets a chance, do yourself a favor, watch some Cancole. Um, it's great. I like battleships. I like aircraft carriers and all that, and it has these guys fighting the enemies on the high seas. And yeah, ships do get sunk, and things happen like that. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Cobra Khan knows what we're talking about.
oh, Akiken, girls as soda cans and Upote. I've seen Upote. The girls as guns. Yeah, that was a fun. I actually learned things about guns by watching that anime. Yeah, no, it's just like, wow, okay.
Well, yeah, that's another fun thing is like what even Food Wars had recipes that were real recipes. Like people made cookbooks based off of the anime.
Oh, I want to get into that too. I want to get into Food Wars. Um,
Oh,
I just got to get the time in.
if you make the right food, you might lose your clothes because it tastes so good.
Blows your doors off, does it?
Every episode.
uh, what's what's irate say? Dead Man Wonderland was a kid gets wrongly convicted to an adult prison where prisoner can do life-threatening challenges to get released.
Hmm.
Ooh, it's like Running Man.
Mm. That was my favorite dance move in the 80s.
Yeah, you liked Running Man?
Yeah.
Richard Dawson, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, good stuff. Oh, and Cutie Honey. It's her
Yeah.
50th anniversary this year.
And trying to find all those, like I said, I think I told you I watched the Cutie Honey like 2000 or whatever.
Okay.
That was on High Dive. Um, but and I think there's some of it on Retro Crush, but they've changed their service and their servers over a couple of times that I think my login may or may not work. And I feel like every time I just want to watch something, I have to log in again and remember my password, which is annoying.
Yeah, it can be. Especially, I have like a big book I use to write down my usernames and passwords for places because I can't remember them all anymore.
Mm. Yeah, when your black book has nothing to do with girls' phone numbers anymore. It's just for trying to log on to the only way we communicate with each other
Yeah.
anymore, which is the internet.
Well, and it's good too because if I ever pass on, my wife can Just look in there to see if to get into my stuff. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Also, yeah, you wouldn't want to give your wife your old black book with all the.
Don't look in this one. Just burn it.
Yeah. Yeah. Burn this one. Keep this one. Please don't get it confused. Yeah.
Yeah. And delete my browser settings. My history.
How many animes is that in? Please delete my browser settings.
Yeah.
I'm getting isekai'd.
Yeah. Got that in your will, eh? First thing the lawyer reads. Number 1, delete browser history. Cobra Khan's hyped about MF Ghost, the successor to Initial D.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I never got into Initial D, but lots of racing going on.
Yeah. It's back.
Yes, a lot of those are making a comeback too. Rurouni Kenshin.
I hear it's really close to the first one. It's just updated graphics and just they didn't really change a whole bunch of the story so far, as what I've heard from people who've watched both.
So they've kind of modernized it, just like Yamato 2199.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and that's good. I'm glad they did that with Yamato. It's I'm a big Yamato fan from way back. It's and to bring it into the modern character designs and everything like that, and yeah, awesome. Well done as well. In Slime, his coworker has to destroy his PC when he got stabbed to death. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. That's what I was thinking. So I did watch the first episode of Slime, just not the rest.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed like there's been a lot of reincarnated shows. Reincarnated Sword was really well done. I liked it. You really wanted Fran to become more powerful and take down the people that were oppressing her.
Yeah.
Have you all seen Alice and Zoroku? That does not sound familiar to me.
I am not familiar with that.
No, we haven't, Irate. We have not. DJ Ronnie D, you're finally back at your desk. MF Ghost is set 20 to 30 years after Initial D. Okay. So it's not a prequel? I thought somebody said it was a prequel to Initial D.
Oh.
You'll jump in if seeming high interest gets mentioned. Well, we'll never know.
Yeah.
Might happen. Here's one I reviewed a while back. Anderson Dowa Ningyo Hime, or The Little Mermaid. So even before Disney got their claws into it, the Japanese they did an anime of The Little Mermaid, which stays very true to the original story.
Okay.
Yes. Her name's not Ariel. It's Marina. She doesn't have a little crab friend. He's a dolphin. His name is Fritz. So, yeah, it's a little more true to the original.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Allison Zoroku. Looking it up. 13 episodes. First episode is a double one, 45 minutes, but the rest are at 23.
Okay.
Okay, the art looks interesting. Okay. I had not heard of that. When did it come out? Year 2017. So it's not that old either. I'll mark that down as something to check out then.
Oh. If I type it right.
Oh, yeah, that helps.
Okay, Alice and Zoro. Usually it's pretty good. Usually it comes up. Oh, okay. Alice. Oh, it's an ampersand. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, who hasn't got crabs?
Crabs?
I don't know.
What do we got here? Or Irate says, old man adopts a young girl with superpowers. Really cute and heartwarming. Oh, that's good. I like the heartwarming stuff. She hasn't got crabs? Yes, Ariel doesn't have crabs. You won't be disappointed. Yuno is another anime that never gets its proper credit. Yuno, I've heard of that one. And Alice in Zoroku is based around the Alice in Wonderland. Okay.
Okay.
Did they give it a, well, it gets an average score of 67%. Alice and Zoroku. Something to look into.
There's so many anime out there that I hadn't even heard of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's hard enough to keep up, but at least, you go by seasons, and at least you can do that. You can be like, oh, what's going on this season, and watch a few, and of course I always go back.
Well, then you find out about shows that have been going on for 4 or 5 seasons, and you think, "Oh, okay, so," or like One Piece that'll never stop. But like you discover it and you're like, okay, apparently a lot of people like this thing, so let's figure out what's going on with it."
Yeah, if it has a big following and you're like, man, this thing has 5 seasons, it must be good. Like, because you don't give an extra season to something that's bad.
And there are a lot of animes that are just one season kind of standalone, and then they can do more with it. But sometimes they tell the full story arc and they're done. What was it? Blue Exorcist, they had their full season, and then the second season, which I think was 8 episodes, was basically expanding out on some of the last few episodes, or a story arc that happened in between like episode 7 and 10. And so it didn't retcon anything, it just developed more of that stuff that, okay, it adds to it. So you And I think they just stopped after that. They just told that story.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, if you can expand on the stuff, then people will appreciate that, the extra added layers to add it to the story.
Right. What you
You
got
watch
there?
I watch
Gunbusters?
Oh yeah, you don't give an extra season to things that are bad. Rings of Power. Yeah, we're talking anime, not live action Amazon cash
Right.
grab.
Well, no, and that's exactly the thing I was kind of saying without saying, or wasn't sure if I wanted to get to it. But like in the West, it's like, okay, we beat the dead horse literally over and over. Like, okay, there didn't need to be a season 1 of Rings of Power because it's loosely based on a Tolkien thing that nobody likes Tolkien that they're making because they want to make this generic fantasy based on things that they can't actually use. So it's the most expensive B rate C, you know what I mean? C
Oh
tier
yeah,
sort of thing,
yeah,
and it's the weirdest amalgamation. It's the weirdest like litmus test of how far off we've gotten, that it's like, instead of just doing a trash C tier low budget, it's the most expensive and it ends up being the same.
yep,
I said
yep.
what I said.
Good for you, Amazon. You've spent $1 billion and you've earned back nothing. Good for you. Like, they just really got to give their head a shake and be like, well, we did all this and it's not paying dividends. Nobody likes it. It's
Yeah.
getting, people are just ripping it, and it's just like, why did you guys even bother?
Mhm.
But yes, I've got Gunbuster up here. If you guys have not seen Gunbuster, do yourself a favor. Go and see it. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
It's fun.
It is well done. It's Gainax at its finest. And like I still have it on VHS. It's up in my cupboard in VHS, and very enjoyable. One of the
I
best shows.
I picked up the Blu-rays of it with the seasons and the OVA
Oh,
on sale
nice.
over the summer. I think it was after going to Dallas this year and seeing some of. There wasn't really much, honestly. It was Dallas. It was when I was at Anime Matsuri when I stopped in because that was the first weekend that the AC was busted for that whole saga.
Oh,
So I
man.
went down to Houston. There was only one or two places that really had a lot of anime Blu-rays and DVDs because most of the stuff was just trying to sell art or costumes. It was so interesting how little hard copies and physical media. And there was a couple places that had like a few, but there was only one place that had a huge selection. Of course, they had a selection of you know family stuff and not family stuff, and but that got me thinking like, okay, there's a lot of these animes that I've started to get into. There's stuff that I want to watch that it's on streaming, but I may or may not find it. And by the time I get around to watching it, it may not be there anymore. But all these classics like this, that it's like, okay, if I can find them on sale, like I said, I found a bunch on sale during some Amazon's sales earlier this month and such. It's like, okay, I'll uh I'll get those, and then in case my internet goes out or in case I don't want to be connected to anything, I can just sit here and watch through these.
Yeah, and getting them on sale, like, that's no better feeling. Like, it's like, "Oh, I picked up these good deals," and you have them in your possession. Physical is the way to go. I'm a big proponent of having that physical media. Have that VHS tape, have that,
Hmm.
reel of film, have that cassette, whatever it happens to be, DVD, Blu-ray. Just have it because no one can ever take it away from you.
Hmm.
What do we got going on in chat here? Rings of Power, the most expensive fanfic.
Hmm.
Oh, well put, Cobra Khan. They would have made more money by making a live action of Monster.
Mm.
Okay. The art looks similar to Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah, yeah, it's that
I
era.
could see that. Yeah, yeah. You just woke up. Hello, Alex Moore. Good to see you.
That's another one that I thought I either had a DVD of or I thought it was on Tubi, and maybe it used to be, but Bubblegum Crisis and AD Police were somewhere streaming, and then I think they've disappeared since.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I have yet to see Bubblegum Crisis. Surprising, but obviously I do know of it. That Dirty Pair I haven't seen either.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's some good stuff, and I'm afraid, and this is why I do and this is why I do my anime shows because um, the younger generations just may be missing out on the stuff that came beforehand.
So
70s and 80s and all that.
so I see that LBX Girls. Like, I think it's funny how I've never watched that, but I remember buying eh, the Bandai. I mean the Mecha, the Gunpla, Kotobukiya stuff, which I've been into, amateur modeling for a few years now. Like, I picked up a couple of the LBX models because they're fun and they don't take as long. The plastic seems a little is different than some of the higher end Gunpla. Like, it's a little bit kind of rubberier, so I don't know, but it's still a lot of fun to build. And then you've got the frame arms, and then what I'm saying is like you got the frame arm girls, and they're a TV show to sell toys, and then the LBX girls, which I don't know which came first, and then the what was this last summer, the Mecha Masume girls,
Oh
um,
yeah.
and like I think I've seen Strike Witches. I don't. I'm assuming they have toys too, but all this like Mega Masume stuff, it's like, oh yeah, and we have all this toy line and models that you can make and customize if you want to.
Yeah, it's amazing. And when I watched LBX Girls, I was like, it's like an isekai. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So the one girl gets pulled in there
Hmm.
uh, to the world there, and man, what a bleak world that is. If anybody hasn't seen LBX, girls, give it a shot because yeah, they got to try to save humanity, and it's pretty crazy the what they're up against. But I enjoyed it.
It only seems like a what a logical evolution of mecha anime girls, mecha anime girls. Oh, let's put them together.
Exactly. If Jake D is still around, it's got
Mhm.
waifus, it's got mecha. You mash the two together, you've got mecha waifus.
Well, and I was talking about with this with Nerdporial, some of the Gundam news channel, people that do Gundam news and stuff like that. Like, there's once a month or some, people do artwork of like a Gundam girl where they take a, it's just art. It's not actually turned into any model, although some people custom build some. But it's just taking a Gundam universe suit and saying how it would be adapted to fit like armor for a girl. And some of them are really cleverly made.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I know I don't remember the artist who does it, but people do like that, and I think it gets published in magazines sometimes too, or put online, and they put a lot of effort into just the concepts, and it's really fun to see. Some of them, like I said, look really good, like a Zaku or a Act Guy, or some of that type of stuff, to being more of an exoskeleton than a huge full mecha.
That's a good mashup though. Like that's pretty cool that people would do that. They're like, okay, well, I got this Gundam model kit and I've got this cute anime girl. Let's see if we can't put on some armor for her and turn her
Hmm.
into a Gundam girl. And it's like, man, that's all right.
Hmm.
What do we got? Cobra Khan saying LBX girl gets the kit mecha she liked in real life in the other world. Ah, yes, I remember.
Oh,
Irate, what's y'all's favorite style of anime? Mine is the weird ones like Serial Experiments Lane or Paranoia Agent. Oh,
hmm.
Punkwaddle, what's your favorite style of anime?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. I like the Gurren Lagann stuff, Gurren Lagann, like kind of pointy, kind of silly, kind of. I like some of the surreal stuff. I also, let's see. I like, is it Studio? Who does the Fate stuff? Um,
Oh, Fate Stay Night or whatever?
yeah, like the Moon something. And I also like IG a lot as well because of um, some of the stuff they put on. That's a really good question, honestly.
It is. It really is. The Studio Dean,
Okay.
they're the ones that do Fate Stay Night.
Okay.
The one my favorite style, I guess. I really like what Clamp does. Like watching Magic Knight Rayearth. Man, oh man, the character designs are good. They got good mecha designs. Um, it's from 1994, and it's like also an isekai where girls get summoned to a different world. And if you're not if your eyes aren't watering by the end episode, then you have no soul.
Well then.
I'll just put it that way. But yes, Clamp does an excellent job.
Okay.
And I love my Macross, as you can see by this list here.
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
Macross, all
that's
the
one of
way
the other
down.
ones I found that was decently on sale. One of the early seasons of Macross.
Nice.
I know there's so much to go with that, but I, having some physical copy gives me somewhere to start. It's like, okay, so when I actually, funny thing is, I started building the Gundam models in Gunpla. I want to say about 5, 6 years ago, but I hadn't really watched any of it. So I went to a local, kind of used bookstore. Like I think it was, I forget which one it was. And the first thing I found, funnily enough, was like the F91 OVA, and watched that, and I was like, okay, so I didn't realize how it was far along it was in the Universal Century, way further along, and where the mechs were a little bit smaller, but you had some cool design. The same sort of thing with any Universal Century. It's a kid who just happens to be skilled at flying a Gundam and has to save everybody. And then I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I like the Jagans, and I like all this stuff. I'll keep watching. And then found all the different timelines and all that stuff. I would say F91 is probably not the best Gundam at all on an OVA, but it kind of got my feet wet and got me interested enough to keep watching.
Yeah, and it's neat which ones actually drag you into the fandom, and you're like, "Whoa, this is really." And then you're a noob, so you don't really know, what's good, what's not good. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, Irate says that he's only seen Macross 2 and Macross Plus, absolute classics. But I would argue that Macross 2 isn't canon, and it wasn't even made by the same guys that made the first Macross. So I am not a fan of Macross 2. Plus, on the other hand, very well done, good OVA. If you watch the English dub, Bryan Cranston plays Isamu, so he does the voice of Isamu. If you ever watched the dub of Macross Plus,
Okay.
yeah. But my absolute favorite out of the whole Macross franchise happens to be Frontier. To me, that's peak Macross right there. It doesn't get any better if you're a Macross fan. My opinion. Come at me.
There you go.
What else? The manga is made by an architect going pro mangaka. Also, a good anime is Shiki. Shiki, I haven't seen or heard of Shiki. Moon Shiki? Punkwaddle, any that sound familiar to you?
Hold on. Say that again.
Shiki? Shiki?
Not Shiki.
Shiki.
I can Google it.
Ranka? Yeah, okay, Cobra Khan. Are you a Ranka fan? I like Cheryl.
I might have my apps open up on the big screen right now, so.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay, so here's a fun one, and I don't know how many people like Fairy Tale. But it's interesting. Okay, so you've got Fairy Tale, and then he eventually finished up that, and then he did Eden Zero, which is it's funny because he uses the same art style, and it's like Lucy, but she's not Lucy, but she looks like Lucy, and she's voiced by the same actress. You have Happy, who's in this universe. He kind of is the same kind of being, but kind of not. But Happy, instead of being a flying little cat from another planet, was a being that got almost killed, and uh, somebody came and turned him to an android so he can turn into two guns. But Happy is Lucy's companion, not Natsu's, and we don't have a exact Natsu, but we have a guy with dark hair that looks a lot like Natsu and acts a lot like Natsu, but he's got a different power. He's just like brazen, screw it, I'm gonna do it. So like, but it's in space and it's a sci-fi, and they talk about like basically YouTube and streaming is what Lucy's character does, and trying to get follows and likes, so she has rivalries with other streamers while she's going on her adventures. Yeah.
Oh.
So if you like um Fairy Tale, it's the same feeling, the same vibe, but in a slightly different space. And some people when it's like a similar content and a similar you have a new story that has the same feeling. Well, let's just keep going with it because I really like how that works and I like the art and I like the styles. You know, it's just a happy place.
Nice. That's the way it should be.
And like, it's a little derivative for sure, but it doesn't bother me because it's fun. I did not find Shiki though. I'm not sure.
Okay. Eden Zero equals Fairy Tail in space. Okay, Cobra Khan.
Yep.
Most mangakas reuse their character designs. I could see that, and you can tell too. I mean, if one mangaka finishes up his one series and then he goes to start another one, it's like, well, these character designs are exactly the same.
Yeah, this one's not hiding it at all, which is funny. Not even trying to beat around the bush. It's Happy has the same name.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, it looks...
Because the first season got on Netflix, and then the second season, I don't know if it's on Netflix, but it's, I think, on a few other places you can find it.
Exactly. Definitely got to have a look for it.
Yeah, and some of the other, like, because Lucy has the Zodiacs. Some of the other creatures that come in here look like some of the Zodiac creatures and her pets from the last show.
Ah, yes. Yeah, they even have it on here as one of the relations. Eden Zero manga and Fairy Tail TV is like a related.
Yeah, okay, so her name is Rebecca, not Lucy, but it's the same person.
Yeah. Rebecca Bluegarden.
Okay, yeah.
Eden of the East was amazing. Made you want to get into Shiba Inu. I can't remember if I watched Eden of the East or not. Once again, gotta try to keep up on lists like this.
And I think it's funny. I'd like to meet a Shiba Inu because they seem fun. I feel like corgis are the closest thing we have in the West. I know they're a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a corgi.
They seem all right. I mean, I don't know what their disposition is like, but
they're pretty. I think they're pretty smart, and they're kind of derpy. Although we've had a neighbor who has a blue heeler, which she's really smart and really fun, and so that might be on the short list too. Short hair too, so when they shed, like as opposed to a corgi or a Australian Shepherd, they shed a lot in long hair. So
okay. Oh, we used to have a Bichon Frise, which is like a small, fluffy white dog. And the thing I liked about him was very smart. So, he'd walk over to the sliding door to get out on the patio, and he'd be like, bark. And we'd open the door and let him out. Then he'd go and do his thing, and he'd come and stand by the door, and then he'd go bark. And we'd let him in, he'd go take himself for walks. So, he could get between the slats of the fence. So he would leave the yard. He'd walk around out to the park by himself, back along the the asphalt, and all the way up to the front door of the house. So he went out the back door and he came up to the front door, and we'd be sitting there watching TV, and we'd hear this bark, bark. We'd be like, that came from the front door. So we'd go and open the door, and he'd let himself in, he'd walk in happy as can be. And it's like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, he was a fun dog. I really liked him. We had him for a lot of years. But yeah, he's and he would just lose his mind if there was ever birds in the yard. Like, you could even tell him, he'd be like, hey, look, there's birds out there, and he'd be like, rah, 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 rah.
Nice.
So yeah, he was a fun little guy. Smart though. I really appreciate a smart dog. So some of the oldest anime I've watched is from like World War II, and I did that when
Okay.
I had my theme for the month a while back was World War II anime,
Yeah.
and I've managed to like watch, and most of it is like Japanese propaganda, obviously, but
Mm.
it's just neat to see it from their side of things and what they did, you know. Um,
Mhm.
there was the one I watched. It was just like a little short film on how to deal with what are they like napalm. You know, if your house starts on fire because of a bomb like that, what to do
Yeesh.
and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was just like this is what I could find out there, and I thought it was quite neat. But being able to watch like some of the oldest stuff that's out there, they've managed to preserve it. For myself, it was very fascinating.
I think.
And then watching sports anime too. Uh,
See. Oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No, it's all right.
Like, that goes back to like I think growing up because I was more of the music guy. Did a little bit of theater, tech theater stuff. The sports wasn't my thing. I mean, I did play soccer and a few things when I was younger, but like the sports anime, kind of like the sports video games, it's harder for me to get into. Although, then again, I'm sure there's characters that I could quite connect with and understand their human plight and such. But for some reason, it's harder for me to get into that sort of thing.
I think for me too. Like I say, that the hockey one was a what do you call it? It was a exception for me because I like the hockey and I want to see anime about hockey. But stuff like yeah, the new stuff like Haikyuu where they're playing volleyball and or Captain Tsubasa where they're playing soccer or
Hmm.
football, right? Or baseball. Because I think I did a whole sports themed month where I would just watch different ones, and I did like sumo and other things like that. And I found
Hmm.
that interesting because you learned a lot. I learned a lot about sumo, surprisingly.
Well, what's that one from this last season about the girls who start weightlifting and one just eats trash and like you have to eat better and the guy they have a crush on, the trainer looks normal until he flexes and he gets huge
Is that
bodybuilder.
is that the one? How heavy are the dumbbells you lift?
Yes, that's what it is.
How heavy are the dumbbells you lift?
It's just so silly, but I was like,
Yeah,
I start watching an episode. I was like, you know what? I am not a gym rat, but that's entertaining.
nice. Yeah, I never watched it, but it doesn't seem like it would take too much. 12 episodes, and it gets a pretty good score. People are 71% people like it, so
Hmm.
definitely worth checking out. Then
Yeah, which is the funny part of all of this stuff. Of yeah, eh, I think I don't remember when somebody said it registered with me. It's like there's the animation is and the medium is a much bigger part of their life, bigger part of their culture. There's an anime about everything. Anything you can think of, there's an anime, whether it's just slice of life, fantasy, or niche stuff that you can't show on YouTube. It's like they draw it all, and it's so ingrained in a way that I think that's I think that's another thing. I've always liked animation, and I know I've said this several times, several places, but the medium and what you can do with a good artist and the creative mind and a few good voice actors that can act, fill in all the other roles and fill all, you have a few main actors, but like, hey, can you do this part? Hey, can you do this? We got, I think it was Vic Mignogna at Anime Matsuri this year. I watched one of his little talks on stream because I didn't make it to it, and he was like, "Yeah, when you go to record in the studio and they have an extra hour or something, you do all your parts. They say, hey, you'd be good for this voice, and you'd be good for this voice. So you don't need 15 different extras like for a live action film. You get people who can do good voices and do good things and make it believable, and with a limited amount of people you can create this amazing universe and this idea and show it in a way that it's really hard to in any other medium."
Yes, and I'm glad you put it that way because a lot of people and mostly normies will poo-poo animation and be like, "Oh, cartoons are for kids." And it's like, no. This is just a different way of portraying things.
It's
The genres that are available are
Mhm.
so varied and vast. You can do like political intrigue. You want a political intrigue anime? It's out there. You can find it. You want a cop anime? It's there. You can go and see it. You know, you want something silly? You want a rom-com? Do you want like a slapstick?
Mhm.
All that kind of stuff. Do you want something that's going to make you bawl your eyes out? It's out there too. Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh god.
Holy crap, man. Super sad. Like you got yes, exactly.
So
You got
so good.
oh, it is so good, but it's just like, man, it can have such a powerful impact on you, you
Mhm.
know? And they can portray it that way. They've got the perfect music,
It
the direction that even the creator, when he and most of them are manga before they become anime,
yeah.
he's drawing the scenes to have
Mhm.
the maximum amount of impact when people read it,
Yep.
you know? Oh, it's
And
amazing.
it really is because, like, I keep going back to the medium, but like, anime of itself is its own subgenre of a medium because animation is a thing, but anime and the passion and the culture that just seeps through it like, okay, so people who never watched One Piece and they watch the live action One Piece are thinking, "Oh, I want to go back and watch this show because this is really interesting and these characters are so well developed and these interactions, these very impactful moments." And for, people like me who's watched the first 200, 300 episodes, talking with Brandon and Ironcaster, who are really big into it, it's like we were all skeptical. But when you see those very integral moments from the anime, right? There's certain moments where the characters are passionate. When Nami decides to join the Straw Hats and some of that, we're not a crew, like those silly moments, but they're almost a one for one ratio to how it was shown in the anime and even the voice tones, right? And then you have the big moment where, um, the Arlong Parks part where she's like, "Okay, Luffy, I need your help." And he's like, "Of course I'll help you. You're my friend." But that was based off everything that happened in the manga and the anime. All the emotion, all of those character developments, all of those real moments were already there in the anime. So I was so happy to see it portrayed well in the live action because it could have been lost entirely. But that's what I'm saying. Like with this animation, all this. Who was it saying? I read specialist, I think, saying at the end of Jobless Reincarnation, if you don't shed a tear, you're not human. Like, it's so silly to say that, oh, those are just for kids because I don't want to watch The Simpsons or Bob's Burgers. That's a different target audience.
Yeah, it sure is. And yeah, those are it's actually animation made for an adult audience or a teenage audience,
Hmm.
Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Futurama, all those ones. And I enjoyed watching all of those, but
Hmm.
they were more they were all comedies. There really wasn't anything serious about them.
Exactly.
Whereas when we're watching the anime, whichever one it may be, there are the serious moments, there are the sad moments, and it's so well done. Um, you know, Depending on who we're watching. And
Hmm.
I haven't watched the live action One Piece yet. I was very, oh, was I was very
Hmm.
wary because I'm like, don't you dare destroy my thing. Like this is something I've followed for so long.
Mhm.
So we will eventually, but later on.
Wanna real quick catch up on the chat.
Mm.
I don't know. Did you catch Irate Specialist? Apparently, he has a Shiba Inu.
Oh, nice. You got one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's own one. They're really smart. He says very independent. One of the hardest dogs you've ever had to train. Okay. 12 pounds, and your pit bull is 112 pounds. Yikes.
That's funny.
The Shiba's the alpha. DJ Ronnie loved Mecha Musume. Cobra Khan says dumbbell is really fun, plus some education on powerlifting with Arnie ripoff.
Yeah.
Of course. You got to rip off Mr. Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, DJ Ronnie G, anime spans many genres, and it isn't necessarily a genre alone.
Mm-mm.
Cobra Khan, Tokyo 8.0 ending is really sad.
I don't know that.
No, I don't know. I haven't heard of Tokyo 8.0 either. I rate anime is telling better stories than anything we have in the West currently. Well, that was easily done, and I feel vindicated because during the 90s, I was watching anime and such and not paying attention to Western stuff because I'm like, oh, this stuff is can't even hold a candle to anything anime. And now everyone's like, oh yeah, anime is so awesome, it's great. I'm like, yes, I know
Mm-hmm.
this.
Well, here's a. This is the punk skeptic in me, right?
Yep.
So the nerd culture that everybody thought was dumb, in the 80s and 90s, and then all of a sudden you had Big Bang and everybody's like, "Yeah, we love nerd culture. We want
Oh,
all the superhero stuff." And then all they gave us was superheroes, and Disney bought all the superhero stuff, and now everybody's like, "We're tired of superhero stuff. We're just done with it because or we want to make it into our own so it doesn't like resemble anything you liked." And then there's just argument of it's almost like a uh custody battle over the importance and value of the origin of the shows and the comics that we all loved, right? And the superhero characters we loved. And then which yeah is interesting. Like you don't like it, you don't understand it, blah 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 blah. All right, well maybe some of us get two Christmases and some of us get no Christmases, but now you've got all the anime stuff and it's not from our culture, right? So even a couple years ago, people were like, we're going to fix the art or we're going to change this. And you have all these people in the West that are trying to now identify with the popularity of the anime and trying to make it their identity as to where like y- you can't you can't take their culture and their intentions out of it. So it's going to be really interesting how it goes through its popular phase and then how people are going to try and take over or reject it at some point in the next decade. I mean, there's been people who love it, but will it stay its peak of popularity for as long as we'd like it to? I don't know.
yeah. And let's hope that well, whenever I see stuff on Twitter or whatever, and they're yapping it up about, oh, look what the Japanese are doing, I'm like, just keep doing you, Japan. Don't worry about
Yeah.
what these guys say over here. Just ignore
W-
them. Keep
Was
doing you.
wasn't it like last year there was somebody who I forget what studio it was, and they got hired on as like a president or CEO or some higher position, and then they started talking crap and talking all the Western talking points, and they were immediately fired. Um,
I do remember something about that. Yeah, they're like, oh, we've got to do this, this, and this, and they're like,
mhm,
get out.
yeah, nope, that's not what we do here. We don't care
Yeah,
about your personal agenda.
yeah,
Bye.
yeah. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Like the the worst thing that they could do is put a trade embargo on stuff they don't like, because you can't tell somebody else how to exist in their own culture and how to reflect on their own, um, I don't know, experiences.
Yeah. Oh, Cobra Khan says, well, he was watching anime before he knew it was anime, like Maya the Bee and Heidi.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember those. Or what was it? Tales of the Forest or the Woodland Creatures of the Forest.
Mm.
Anyways, it was one of those shows. Irate says Big Bang destroyed nerddom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kinda.
I mean, I was angry at Big Bang because I'm like, these bunch of beta males,
Mhm.
and they're like, they're getting they're getting a one up on the alpha males or whatever, or the guys who are portrayed as big dumb jocks, and it's like,
I
it
don't
made me angry.
I don't know if it destroyed nerddom. It's kind of felt like people think they can take over because they think they can relate to a two-dimensional TV character. The unfortunate thing is, I think I think it became cool to have a nerd friend in your group, like not completely exploit them, but it's like, oh, I know what nerds are. I know how they are. So you kind of start hanging out and you trying to start like, I don't know, your need. But then when people are actually quirky in real life, as opposed to the comical quirkiness in the show, it's like, well, we don't like you. Well, you like the guy in the show, and I'm very much, I'm quirky like that, but you don't like me because you actually have to deal with this in reality. And then the same thing in the 80s and 90s of like, y'all are nerds. You shouldn't have this, but we like it now, so we're gonna take over because we're bullies, like we did
Yeah,
all the sports and jocks. And it's like it. No, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just the evolution of it all.
yeah, yeah, that's for sure. And like I say, that show annoyed the hell out of me. I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
this is not good. But yeah, Irate says Punkwall, it would be really interesting if they reject Western woke culture or if they completely give in order to not offend. I'm hoping they hold steadfast. And yeah, they should.
I hope that they do not bend the knee to the Western world. I mean,
No,
as 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 dark as this is, they rebuilt their whole society, and they rebuilt after what the events of 100 years ago. And I don't think they're about to just um, give up their pride for the Western culture 100 years
no,
later.
no. If they can hold steadfast to their traditions and things that have gone on, then they'll be just fine. Don't worry about what we say over here. Just ignore us.
The f- the
Don't worry
f-
about
the
it.
f- the funny thing is there's so many people in the Western culture that I remember what was that movie with Brad Pitt, 7 Years to Tibet. They kind of already romanticized some of these Asian sort of culture. This such a just this whole like romanticizing their values and all this stuff. But then you want the because it's different, because there's this I forget the word you just said, but there's something deeper rooted in it, and then it's like, okay, we like it, we want to be a part of it, we want to learn about it. Okay, now that we've been here long enough, you need to cater to us and mold it like us. It's like one of those junior high, high school relationships of like, we really appreciate who you are, but now that we're here, we want you to change and be like us, so that in 5 years we can complain that you've changed and we don't like you anymore because you're not who you used to be, but because you listen to us to stay with us, um, because you valued our opinion over your own personality. Um, Now you're good for nothing. But that's comes from the experience of a punk. So,
Yeah, there's no pleasing people, so don't. Like that, you can't please
mhm.
everyone, so don't even try. Just do your thing, and you'll be fine. The people that like you will stick around. The people that don't, then they realize they can't get anything out of you, they will leave. And so that's the way.
and
That's the way to do it.
people that don't really like what you're doing will have a lot more respect and appreciation for you being somebody who holds on to your beliefs, your willpower, you live by a certain code or standard, and that's what you do. people will respect that even if they don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you at least you hope to. Anyone with any kind of quality will respect that.
Yeah.
What do we got here? DJ Ronnie G, nerddom for the normie, or sometimes lowest common denominator. Yeah, Bazinga. Oh yeah, all nerds know that one. Like how the non-nerds took over Comic-Con. And that's the thing that gets me too. It's like I went to my last the one in September. It was a fan expo here where I live. And I was disappointed with the amount of video game vendors. Like there wasn't a lot of them there. Artist Alley was really really huge. So the independent artists, I go there for comic books as well. There's only like a few places I stop at for the comic books, but there's a lot of things that are there that you wouldn't expect to see. Like the Canadian Army was there, doing their thing. Just and it's I can appreciate all the artists that they bring in, the people that draw comic books and all that. That's fine. A couple of actors and actresses were there. John Rhys Davies was there. Marina Baccarin was there. So you got to see them up close and personal. But it's like cool. I'd like to see more. Like don't let like you were saying before, the bullies and all that, they come in and they take over. It's like don't let those people take over your nerd fandom. Like get all the stuff there.
They call it gatekeeping, but it's like, this is okay. You want to play a game, you want to be part of this. This is the world. These are the rules of the world. This is how it works. Oh, that's cool. But what if I introduce this thing? What if I change it? I want to be able to do this in this world. Can I change the basic core structure, the foundation? Well, no. If you do that, it becomes this other thing that you were already playing. Why do you what? I thought you wanted, huh?
No, that's it. Like we invite you in, but you can't change everything, and they got to be they call it gatekeeping, right? So people, the fans, it's okay to gatekeep. Don't let people come in and stomp all over what you've created and what you like to do. Keep them out, make them do their own thing. They'll get bored with what you're doing, and they'll move along to something else, hopefully. DJ Ronnie G says we should have a Meiji restoration. I mean, I guess. He remembers the movie we were talking about, 7 Years in Tibet. He liked the scene with the mountain shoes.
It's been so long.
OnlyFans cosplayers. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, yeah, fan service is one thing, but just utilizing that as a new form for the a new costume for the same old thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
Yeah. What does the Canadian Army do? Invite people over for tea? Ha! Well, you got to generate interest somehow, and there's going to be a large group of people, but that's what they do. A bunch of Canadian Army cadets did help to test some archaeological theories regarding the doomed Franklin expedition. I don't know what that is. Maybe you can elaborate for me, DJ Ronnie G.
Yeah. Tell us more.
Teepin maple syrup irate? Yeah, we like our maple syrup. But did you know there's different grades of it? Different grades of maple syrup. So you can get stuff that's taken early on in the season, or you can wait until later in the season where it's a little more darker, a little more flavorful. They would use that mostly for cooking. Yeah. Some little maple syrup knowledge for you.
So it's because it's from the maple tree, so it's maple aged maple.
It is maple aged maple. You got that right.
This is a 2-month age. This is a 3-month age.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
I've been too much in the bourbon world, so
maple aged bourbon.
Well, oak aged this and blah blah blah.
Oh, okay.
Hang out with drunk waddle too much.
Yeah. That's what you call hospitality. You want to buy a bottle of really fancy syrup now? Hey, you got to find it. It's got to be like I think it's number 3 is like the darkest stuff you can get. Oh, it's a maritime disaster. Okay. Because I know there was one in Halifax Harbor during World War I, was it? And it like wiped the town off the face of the earth. It was quite incredible. It was the biggest non-nuclear explosion ever.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, Captain Franklin commanded an expedition to find the Northwest Passage on behalf of Great Britain. 2 ships, HMS Terror and HMS Erebus, ended up getting stuck in the ice. Okay. Like, why would you name your ship HMS Terror? Like, are you going to be like that? I would be very wary.
Yeah.
So far, so good, but a lot of things went wrong. Okay. Irate says cosplayers was a lot of serially skilled people that made their own costumes. Now failed models buy the costumes online to get money from okay, yeah, that's true. And I myself am a cosplayer. I did so since about 2005. So I do know my way around. I have sewed my own costumes. I have cosplayed from different animes and such. It's fun. Like, it's really fun. You meet a lot of people. You get a lot of pictures taken. It's a fun time, especially when you find an anime show you really like and you're like, I want to be that character. And you bring the character to life and people really get a kick out of it as well.
Yeah, Irate Specialist, there's a bunch of, I mean, you can go on YouTube and going to these cons, you can see people who put so much effort. Like there was a 40K Warhammer, like Space Marine or something going around at the Dallas Fan Expo, and I mean, definitely on stilts and stuff, but this looked really, really, really good. And the people that take all the time do all the foam, and I've seen some really awesome stuff. And it's just sad that people will just buy a $30 costume. And yeah.
Oh, I can remember this one time I was at a convention and this guy had like a box on, like a cardboard box, and it said on the front, I am a Gundam. And people were like clapping and cheering for him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. You guys don't encourage them. You know?
Yeah.
No, that was terrible. DJ Ronnie goes along to say, we have scanned accounts from Inuit groups who witnessed sailors dragging boats on sledges across the ice. Okay. These guys all had scurvy and they were trying to drag 1,200-pound sleds full of supplies 800 miles. Oof.
Ouch.
HMS Terror and Erebus, which means gates of hell, were bombardment ships or bomb ships. They actually served during the War of 1812 and shot bombs at Fort McHenry, literally the origin to the Star-Spangled Banner. Bomb ships basically have large, heavy mortars on the deck, so the frame is thoroughly reinforced. They made good icebreakers. Makes sense. The exhibition set off in 1845. Irate Specialist, I'm not. I've seen some seriously skilled people that deserve lots of credit for their hard work, yet they have failed models looking for money who have no love for their subject. Yes, and that is the big difference right there. So my rule was, when I was cosplaying, it's 50% costume and 50% your acting ability or the way you portray the character. And you put those together and you got 100%. So if I'm cosplaying, let's say, because I'd cosplay as Kakashi from Naruto, I would try to sound like him and act like him. Try not to do anything out of character. And that seemed to work pretty well for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so much of the effort you put in when people can tell that you're trying to create something and trying to do something. Even if your costume is low budget, the imagination fills in gaps because of your love of the subject and your love of what you're doing.
Yes. And there's always you can always test out if someone is a fan or not you go up to them like, hey, I like your costume, I like your character. Did you like it when they did this in the show or did that? And if they can answer back, or you ask them something, and if they can answer back, then yes, they are legitimate. But if they're like, oh, I haven't seen it or whatever, right? It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you go back to how many animes like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's like the heart of the cards and the power of friendship. And when you hear the Pharaoh say that in such a cheesy way, it's dumb, but it's also like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah. And so funny thing is I have dressed up from Yu-Gi-Oh! I dressed up as Pegasus. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had my red suit on, I had my white wig, had the frills, the ascot or whatever it is he wears there, the frilled collar. And I had a wine glass with me, and I'd go around going, Yugi boy. Oh, Kaiba boy, I'm going to take you down today in a children's card game, stuff like that.
Duel monsters.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's Duke Devlin. You're coming to me with dungeon dice monsters. I will buy this off you. And then, just all that kind of stuff. It was good.
I'm gonna put your grandpa in the shadow.
Yeah. I want you to battle me, so I'm going to kidnap your grandpa. Yeah, that was fun because I had a friend that dressed up as Kaiba and all that, so we got some good shots together. Oh, actually, one of the very best cosplays and a group one was we dressed up as the Arrancar from Bleach. And I dressed up as Aizen. And it was good. We had about, what was there, like 6 or 7 of us? So big group, and we were at SakuraCon in Seattle. And yeah, we were stopping traffic. Like we couldn't walk 3 feet without people trying to get a photo of us. They're like stopping us for photos.
That's fun.
So much so that the con staff was like, okay, you guys have to find another place to stand because you're causing too much traffic jam.
You can still hear me, right?
Yep, you're still coming through.
Okay. There was a hiccup on something, said it was disconnected, and I was just making sure it wasn't the audio.
Oh, we're still good. We still good out there, chat. You guys, we're still all right. Everything seems okay on my end.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, the dressing up as the Arrancar from Bleach was a big hit. Like everyone was just loving it.
Yeah. Well, that's the half the appeal about going to the cons is to see the effort that people put into cosplay, and then seeing what cool merch, or if there's some artist alleys, some people making some really good art, or they'll do even live commissions. If somebody is going to be there, that's really, really fun.
Yeah, like I say, and when you get somebody that really is really into it and they act like the character, it's that extra bonus. You really, and at the convention I was at this couple months back, I guess it was just September. I noticed a lot, and at the because there's anime conventions and then there's like the fan expos, with that deal with a wider range of but this felt, even though it was a fan expo, it felt like an anime convention because there was so many people dressed up as anime characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because I've been to other ones where it's like, yeah, there's your sci-fi, there's your horror, there's your, the other stuff, and that sort of overshadows the anime because there's more of it. But this time, there was more anime than just your regular sci-fi. It was weird, really weird to me.
Yeah, it is.
Irate specialist, there was a hiccup on your end. Okay, yeah, okay. So it must have been something everybody experienced then. You should follow a cosplayer online. She was super talented. You may not have been a fan of the subjects. I was a fan of her art. Watching her costume come together was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, watching people get stuff all together and how they deal with different problems, making armor or whatever it happens to be.
Well, it's like, this goes back to like, I didn't in theater, and I kind of wish that I had done some of this. I did scene shop work, right? Tech theater. I kind of wish I'd gone into the costume shop when I was in college because you had to put hours into both and learn how to make costumes and learn how to sew and do basic stitching that right now would be really, really helpful for, well, whether cosplay for me or maybe some puppets, you never know. Um, but that's a really handy skill to have. And like you said, the amount of effort people go into it just on their own, they're not in a production company. They're not, and some of them are actually have done this stuff professionally, and they just do this on the side for themselves. But some of them, they're not, unless they win a costume contest, they're not getting paid for it at all. It's just a passion hobby.
Yes, and that's the way it was for me. I didn't get obviously I didn't get paid for it. I'd spend my own money to get any of the stuff I needed for the costume, which was a lot of searching on eBay for like little things, little props and all that. And that's what I found too is yeah, you can make the costume, but if you have like the little extras like the props, little stuff like that. Like I had a little Pakun that I would carry around with me because Kakashi had a little dog, right? So I
Hmm.
would carry that around with me just to pull out for photos and all that. And people, they really got a kick out of that because it's like, oh, look at you've got that, and it's like that's right. You
Hmm.
gotta. And I guess I'd be more. I was more detailed. I wanted to have those extra details to make everyone's day.
Hmm.
My dress up darling skills. Yeah, there you go. Goju,
Yeah,
Goju, and his dress up, his skills like that.
yeah. I know. I know we've kind of meandered around. I'm not sure if there's what other anime or anything else.
Oh, there's lots. I mean, um, yeah, I've gone through Ranma one half. I've watched, I think, the first 3 seasons of that. It gets a little bit repetitive after a while. It's like, okay, another girl coming after Ranma. Okay, yeah, got to fight her off. Yeah, okay, another anything goes martial arts something or other.
Hmm.
So, but yeah. Oh, for Halloween, you guys want a good thing to get into Halloween? Watch Soul Eater. They do an
Oh,
excellent. What's that? What's that?
I haven't watched Soul Eater. I started watching a while ago and then kind of lost where I originally streamed it on. But yeah, that's a fun one.
It is fun. It's very well. The character designs are great, and it
Hmm.
really has that Halloween theme.
Hmm.
So if you ever want to see something with a Halloween theme, just watch some Soul Eater. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but it's a fun ride. It really deviates from the manga though, because I think they caught up to it. So yeah, that's just I'm reading the manga too. So
Isn't that kind of from the Shonen Jump era, or just after?
was it in Shonen Jump? I don't know.
I
I'm
think it's
buying.
no, no. I think it's just after, but it's like it. It has that aesthetic, that kind of mm, not too serious, but still kind of fun and not just too kiddie either.
Yes, it is. it's got its etchy parts too. If
Hmm.
anybody knows about Blair the cat, then you'll know
Hmm.
what I'm talking
Hmm.
about.
Yeah,
But it's yeah, it's not too serious. It's not too silly. It's a fun ride. The sequel to that, Soul Eater Not, don't watch this. It's no, it's
bad.
takes place in the same world, different characters. It's bad. Don't waste your time. You know. So just a warning to you guys out there.
Noted.
Yes.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I remember talking with Brandon about some anime stuff, and I like a lot of the Fate things, and then there's some of those that came on later that it's like, and Blaine was like, "Yeah, don't watch those." And then when I kind of looked into them, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's those. You don't right."
Yeah.
Not all, and I know the Fate has so many different timelines and universes. and apparently themes and tones, and it's like not all fates are the same.
There you go, everybody. That's
Yeah.
That's the Punk Waddle endorsement. Not all fates are the same.
Yeah. Quote me on that.
That's right. Clip it. What's we got? DJ Runny started on Ranma recently, and it's fun. Hey, all right, good for you. I like to see people watching some of the older stuff. Repetition has definitely kept you at bay. Yeah, it's Rumiko Takahashi. Like, she's only got like 2 modes. It's like awkward romance or like isekai in another, because she did Inuyasha as well. So it's yeah, taken in small doses, I guess. Irate says whether it's making puppets, cosplay, etc., independent people teaching themselves a craft, art, and excelling is something amazing to see. Yes, I agree 100%. As someone that has not just cosplay but working in my trade, I had to do all that. You have to learn somewhere. You have to learn which end of the hammer to hold on to. And you know, it's eventually either have someone to sort of guide you and show you the way, or you have to sort of learn stuff on your own. And the learning on your own can be difficult, but it's rewarding once you figure things out and you're able to discover stuff. It is quite the thing. Cobra Khan, The Wallflower is a nice, funky, fun Halloween series. The Wallflower. Okay. Can't say I've ever heard of The Wallflower.
I haven't heard of that either.
Here it is, The Wallflower. Takano Kyohei, Oda Takanaga, Toyama Yukinojo, and Mori Ranmaru are going to rent a house to go to school for free on the condition that they make the girl of the house a lady. However, Nakahara Sunako, the girl living there, is a gloomy, weird, and horror movie maniac. She has a trauma of when she was told she was ugly by the boy whom she loved when she was in junior high school. She doesn't like beautiful things and gets a nosebleed when she looks at something beautiful. Okay, then.
All right.
So she's into the horror and the macabre.
Mm-hmm. And whoever mentioned Apote earlier about the guns, I just put that in my.
Yeah, I can't remember who. I've seen it. I've seen Upote, and yeah, that's a fun one.
Apparently, there is a genre of people who are things, and Apote, Azure Lane, Soul Eater.
Oh yeah, Soul Eater would be in that, yeah, because of the weapons.
And then Hetalia, Cancali, all that stuff.
Yeah, Hetalia, yeah. All the countries coming together.
Hetalia is funny, and then the chibi Hetalia is even funnier.
Okay, yeah. You know what? I cosplayed from Hetalia.
Oh, really?
I cosplayed Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, and for that, because I am the way I am, I'm like, I'm going to order a real German uniform. So I looked on where you can get those, and there was a place in England that sold real German uniforms, and I'm like, okay, I'll order one of those. And it came here, and it was like nice cotton uniform, it was a Wehrmacht uniform. Funny. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's yeah, I tend to go a little overboard, I guess.
Apparently, it happens once in a while.
Yeah.
I've been known to kind of delve into things at times myself.
Well, yes. I mean, if you don't have any other vices, so, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do any of that kind of stuff. Your money's got to go somewhere. You got to have some fun with it. So,
yeah, that's true.
Let's see. What does DJ Ronnie G. However, I'm presently hooked on Fang of the Sun Durgram, an oldie but a
Okay.
goodie. Okay. And Irate says, while out of work with an injury, I taught yourself editing in Final Cut Pro. Decided to create a
Okay.
Rumble channel about Florida history in the style of the NHK docs I watched while home. Oh,
Okay.
that's a good skill though. Like teaching yourself editing, which is like takes so long to do. Oh
Mhm.
man. I mean, I use what is it now? What's it called? OpenShot? OpenShot video editor. And man, it takes so long.
I use Filmora or Wondershare like a lot of people do. It's pretty
Filmora
intuitive.
Wondershare. Okay.
Yeah. That's what uh, Floral and a few other like I think Talks and a few of some of them that with the comics division and stuff. So I kind of been able to learn some stuff through them and their experience. So and then I mean even sharing stuff back and forth, not necessarily an issue, but it like I said, I've learned a lot working through them and I don't do tons of stuff, but I've seen some of the stuff that they've put together. So many layers and how much it can handle is pretty impressive.
That does sound good. I am looking for another video editing software to use. I may have to bite the bullet and actually pay for something, but as
Because
long as I can get one that's good.
I remember when I was trying to figure it out, DJ Ronnie G was talking about a free version of DaVinci stuff, and I kind of hadn't quite figured it out. I think it's very powerful, but it's also not as intuitive, not as simple. So, yeah,
Yeah, I tried DaVinci as well. It's steep learning curve, like really. Like it's just like, okay, how do I do this? How am I? What can I do?
I don't have a programmer's brain, so there's things that I just don't quite get how to put together. I'm more of the performance live action. Let's let's make it work in real time, not spend an hour to set it up and it works perfectly.
Yeah. No, the live streaming is definitely I like that a lot better. I do have some standalone videos, of course, on the channel and from stuff that I wanted to get out there, but
Mhm.
it's very time consuming and very involved, like writing the script, getting things set up,
Oh
music
yeah.
and all that. No copyright claims and all that kind of other stuff because that's a pain on itself.
My thing is I kind of have ideas. I usually try to do it one or two takes for my videos and I end up rambling a little bit, but I think that's enough my style and people haven't complained too bad. But like as far as music and such, right now I just use the YouTube free library for things so I know they're gonna not gonna copyright claim me because at this point I'm small. I'm a nobody, so I'm not gonna push the limits or say, "Well, this is fair use," or "This is something," and if they don't like me, it doesn't matter. I'm on their platform. It's not like this is just plain old free speech, somebody shouting in the field, right?
Yeah.
So so you have to eh, unfortunately, things that I think are unfair that happen, I get the frustration behind them, but at this point, I'm just gonna tote that while I'm doing my own thing and not putting I mean, it's just a hobby for me, so I'm not trying to make money off it either. But build something that's not gonna get me in trouble later. Like we were talking about all of the people who've made their channels built on shorts that are compilations of TikTok videos and stuff that eventually when people try to get monetized, they get told no and they get mad because they've had their channel built on just using other people's stuff.
Content. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just not even transformative. They don't talk over it. It's like, why would we pay you to put something out that other people already did?
Yeah. No, that's fine too. And yeah, you're like me. We're just doing this for the fun hobby. I doubt I couldn't make this a career, like to be a career YouTuber and try to earn money off of this, there's just no way. There's no. I'll stick to the trades, thanks. I'll do that, and I as I so often do, and anybody that follows the channel knows, every Tuesday is Trades Talk Tuesday. So I've been in the trades for over 25 years, so I like to think I know what I'm talking about. I got pictures and videos and stuff like that, and I definitely like to explain to people that being in the trades is a good thing and might be something that the younger generation should consider because it's important. You don't have a lot of things if you don't have people in the trades. You don't have, machines, buildings, roads, all that kind of stuff. So it's one of the things I'm going to keep talking about because I think it's important. And the rule is you talk about what you know. So that's what I think.
And we've talked about this a little bit. I've done utility work a little bit, and I wish I did a little more trade work when I was younger, but the whole thing about the trades and utilities and the infrastructure work is what makes the world go round. And to be fair, there's certain things about those industries that are trying to become automated so they don't have to pay people, which is kind of silly in some ways, because if something goes wrong and you don't have enough people to get there quick enough, it goes wrong real bad. But there's this whole thing about all the people that have so much time to talk and complain and go on Twitter and speak their opinions, and then you have the people that are out doing work, field work, busting their butt for 8-10 hours a day, go home, eat exhausted. They don't have time for this, and they're just living life, and you don't hear from them on social media because they don't have time for it.
Yep.
And it's amazing how much satisfaction of life you'll have by just doing those things and feeling like you don't have enough time to do everything, instead of having so much time that you don't even know what you're talking about, because you could have all the time to do in the world and do research and learn things, or you could just sit there and complain and be opinionated. And yeah.
I know it's frustrating, isn't it? And just looking at the chat here, Irate Specialist, Irate on Rumble is a meme. Bygone Florida is the History Channel. You have 3 short episodes of an interview you did at Small Museum.
Okay.
Cobra Khan wants to know anything about welding. I mean, get into it. I mean, you want to know about welding? It's actually not that difficult. It's only a 3-year apprenticeship, and it's good because you can go through different levels. You can get your basic C welding level, or you can go work your way up to do pressure vessels and such, which is like a B welding level. You can get into stick and wire feed, and you can get into TIG welding, which is you want to earn the big money, you do TIG welding. And if you can do that very well, you will never be out of work. It's going to be hot. It's going to be noisy. You're going to be, you can be a production welder, or you can be a fabricator. You can make prototypes and such like that. You can do laser welding. You can do gas cutting, gas welding. Like, there is so much to do. And as long as you remember, always keep your respirator on, because you don't want to breathe in those exotic metals. You'll end up with black lung, and you don't want that. You'll earn good money. Like, welders get paid very well. And if you're a good welder, you will always have work. Like, that's the thing.
I knew a guy that he did welding. He ended up working for the Navy. He went over to Japan, did that for a few years, and then found a waifu and stayed.
Nice.
It's kind of like the life that half the people here would like, but it takes a little extra effort to make it happen.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, he did that. Oh, an Irate Specialist says, same here. His trade has done very well for you, or for him and his family. Irate, what trade is that? I'm curious. What are you into? And would you like to be a guest on Trades Talk Tuesday? Try to round some up while we've got him here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't done welding, but you do very well with welding. Very high paid, depending on the type of. Yes, exactly. DJ Ronnie G is sold. He's subbing as soon as he can remember his sign on for his repaired phone.
Nice.
Okay. Cobra Khan reschooled to a welder, MIG, MAG, and TIG. Now working as a robot welder operator. Oof, that's all right. Oh, Irate, you're an electrician. Actually, I've been looking to have an electrician on. I don't think I've had one yet. Or sorry, I had an instrumentation electrician, but he was more instrumentation than electrical.
Cute.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's great. I'm, like I say, I'm trying to extol the virtues to everyone about getting into the trades. You know, small channel like me, though, I don't reach a lot of people, but hopefully eventually, you know, people that are looking into trade stuff will be like, hey, I'm going to tune in on Tuesday night and see what he has to say, see what Pop's up to. Oh, you work nights. What time is it? Depending on what time zone you're in. I'm in the mountain time zone, and I usually do mine at 7 p.m. just because it's after dinner and after I've watched our One Piece and all that stuff. Good time to relax. But it could be any time, really. Tuesdays around 9 p.m. Eastern. Yes, that is right, DJ Ronnie G. You are correct. Yeah. Oh, there's also video games that have been made into animes, or animes that have been made into video games. I think I did a theme like that though 1 month.
Yeah, we
That was
talked
pretty
about
cool.
Bayonetta and a few other ones, which got me to watch the Bayonetta movie, which was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, Bloody Fate. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was quite good. And I've played almost all the games for her, except for number 3. But yeah, Bayonetta, Bloody Fate.
I
Nice.
have 3. I haven't played it.
Yeah, same here. I got it on the Switch. And can we all thank Nintendo for coming to the rescue for Bayonetta number 2?
Yes.
Like, it wasn't going to come out on the PlayStation, but Nintendo's like, you know what? We're going to bring this out for the Wii U. And it's like, awesome. Well done, Nintendo.
They've been stepping up a lot. They really have.
And yes, I did go over the video game chart for Japan. And of course, number 1 was Super Mario Wonder. With like 637,000 copies. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good job on Nintendo's part.
They're going to do fine.
Yeah, but there was that nonsense about Microsoft wanting to buy Nintendo. And it's like, no.
I don't think for so many reasons that's going to happen.
No. I can't see it. It's like an American company buying a Japanese one. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, look what happened to the whole PlayStation moving everything over to America and everything that's happened since.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All the censorship and just what are with the character designs? Like, do they have a fear against good-looking women? Like, don't be afraid of good-looking women. Like, come on.
Right. It's all just kind of, they've lost everything. So, and what hasn't Japan kind of, they love their PlayStation 4, but PlayStation 5, and you can see how you can see how Nintendo is just the bastion of hope and the flagship of Japanese culture and Japanese gaming, really, now.
Sure, for sure. And it's like, look at, okay, Sony, you made your pet. You're going to lie in it now. You're going to turn your back on your home country. Okay. They're going to do the same to you. and you will suffer.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm definitely, I have my PC and I can game on that, and I have my Switch, and
Mm-hmm.
I have the other consoles. I do have a PS4. I do have, a GameCube, a Wii U. Like, I've got lots of the retro consoles, and I play the Switch the most.
Yeah, I did get a PlayStation 5 last year because of the
Ooh,
backwards compatibility to some of the PlayStation 4 games and the Gundam games. I still haven't played it I did spend like 3 months playing Persona 5 Royale. Um, I put like 150 something hours into that game because it has a counter, which was definitely worth it, and it was a lot of fun. At the same time, I need a few more of those games to justify the PlayStation, but like as far as playing Fortnite with Dad Man or Ords or something like that, I'm on my Switch.
yeah, there you go. I mean, once again, the Switch it's winning. Like, a lot of
Yeah,
people might not think so, but it is winning.
it's half the price as the other ones, basically. Um, People complain about Nintendo Online that yeah, like last night I was trying to play Mario Kart with the Cotton Council and it wouldn't connect to the server, which was odd. But
Huh.
at the same time, they're doing a lot of good stuff, and yeah, they're hosting stuff. But for Fortnite, they're letting you connect to all the third party servers that are doing really well. So yeah,
No, that's good. And like I say, if you've got a Switch, then you're eating well. They've got lots of releases. Like,
hmm
just there's almost too many. There's too much stuff to pick from.
and they are porting over a bit as well. Now I feel like they're going to slow down because you're going to have the next Switch that's going to come out in a year or two, but they're still going to support the Switch, I think, for a long time because it has really dominated. Yeah,
As long as
well,
it's backwards compatible.
I would say dominated. It's basically it has been a contender since before the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox, you know, they couldn't even get the chips, so they couldn't even sell them.
Yep. Yep. Chip shortage. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, irate specialist. You work from 3 to 11 Eastern time? Okay. Let me know when you're on a day off, because it doesn't necessarily have to be Trades Talk Tuesday. It can be Trades Talk any day. Because
True.
I'd like to hear some of your stories and your journey to get to being an electrician. So please hit me up. Um, I guess Twitter, you can hit me up. My Twitter handle is popculturemech1. And yeah, please hit me up with that, and let's organize. I want to get it organized if you're up for it. Uh, he also says, I believe Nintendo is a lot more popular in Japan than any other platform. Yes.
hmm
We know that Xbox failed. First of all, they had a controller that was way too big for the Japanese hands. So they had to scale it down. And it's just, they're loyal. They are loyal to their home country. Here comes an American company and they're like, yeah, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
DJ Ronnie G, you give up on modern consoles and yet you chose a Switch. I know. I know. I mean, when like Punkwall said, it's half price and you still get to have some fun playing the games. I mean,
And if you're gonna pay the same price for the game either way, yeah.
sure. And man, they were so smart. And I'm kicking myself that I didn't see this before, but now they've combined their handheld console with their home console. It's brilliant. You have
hmm
one thing to make. You don't have to make two versions. I mean, man, they nailed it. They nailed it, and good for them. Irate
Yeah.
specialist, you wish more Americans were so as loyal. Yeah, I mean, What's happened? What's happened to the loyalty of the country?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've got quite the list of anime planning to watch. I've read Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight. I would just want to see the show.
The dot hacks are interesting. They came out. They're one of the first of getting trapped in a game, or kind of.
Yes. Yeah, Dot Hack Sign. That was the first one, I believe.
Hold on.
And yeah, Legend of the Twilight. I read that one, so I do want to see that. Cobra Khan says Steam Deck, anyone?
The only issue I have with the Steam Deck is the fact that it is not physical media, and then what I remember Loki talking about, sometimes there's stuff that they just stop supporting, and it's like you paid for it, and now you can't access it.
Oh.
But then I've also been talking to people. Our local GameStop, they're good people there. I mean, GameStop has issues for sure, but I don't blame the people who work there, because they're actually right near where I work. So usually when I got off work, I go say hi to them and maybe pick up something or look at what they've got. You know,
Nice.
But what was I saying? What were we saying?
Talking about GameStop, Steam Deck.
Oh yeah. But like talking about some of the new games, and they are up on all the new stuff like that. You've got Steam Deck, but then you've also got Microsoft, and the Xbox is basically just going for subscription based streaming games and less physical media. But then there's also games that you buy the physical media and it's just a key to download the game. Like the disc does nothing, has no information on it. So you
Oh.
paid for it's a you know you can download it again on a different console, I guess, as long as it's being supported, but you just don't have that. Uh, that's why I like the cartridges. Like the Switch, you have a cartridge, it'll go in, has everything you need. Um, Even if you have a Switch that doesn't have all the updates, you can still play the game, right?
Yep.
Although, what was it? The first version of Tears of the Kingdom, you could get like unlimited Master Shields if you glitched it right.
Oh.
But then they took that away after an update and realized, oh no, you can only get one, like right, one or two, and then
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
What does DJ want to see? PS4 is cool, but it's a PC without upgradable RAM. You got a deck. You like what Valve did with Proton, and when a game doesn't work, you often play it via remote play.
Okay.
He wants to catch up on You're Under Arrest. Oh yeah, that's a fun one. Yeah, You're Under Arrest. Good old cop show. You used to watch the live action version. Okay. Cobra Khan says Steam Deck is gaming on Linux. Yeah. Okay. I'll go for that.
I get it.
The new PSP. Go ahead.
Linux is Penguin powered, so of course I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, you heard it here, folks. Endorsed by Punkwaddle.
So, sorry, I'm kind of looking around stuff. Like, I didn't realize. So Gundam, they finished up their Witch from Mercury, which was an. I still need to finish it because it's an interesting amalgamation of kids kind of at war because there's more political struggle and about the development of the Gundam and how it's a machine that it's kind of morphed into a different thing. But there's a lot of the height the one thing that Gundam really didn't have, or a serious Gundam didn't have really, is kids in high school being high schoolers and having that kind of high school hierarchy. Because have you watched much of it?
No, I haven't seen Witch from Mercury. The last one
Okay.
I watched was Iron Blooded Orphans.
Okay. So this one, you find out there's some really interesting and deep, dark implications of as you watch the show. If you definitely watch the prequel, the the first show episode before episode one, it set a few years before the start of the actual show. But she goes to a school, but they have mech battles and they're fighting to be the top one who's the holder, who's like basically gonna marry. You're gonna be the bride of, or eh, they they earn the bride, which she's um some of the rich guys. You kind of find out later, but he said his daughter goes to school, and whoever is the top alpha person who wins mech battles and duels gets the gets to marry his daughter, basically. So you have a lot
Okay.
of prestigious families that are in different places of power that are all kind of struggling. So the advanced the ability to marry into the family and kind of have that is also a little political struggle. But you have the kids in the high school, which is that's the thing that all the Gundams didn't really have. You had somebody who was a high schooler that was thrust into war, that was thrust into being an adult. And I think over the second half of the season, has to learn adult things and kind of has to grow and morph, but not in the same way that 10 minutes into a Gundam series, oh crap, I gotta pilot this big mecha and save people, and I have to kill the bad guys, and I have no time to process this. I'm a kid, but I either die or, kill or be killed in this
Yep.
weird thrust to adulthood, maturity. Um, but this one, because I mean, you have all the build fighter stuff that came over what after the mid 2000s, and then I find it interesting. I didn't realize they were doing a series, but they just released the Metaverse game where you can scan your Gundam and play with it online, and they're trying to work on that technology, which is based on all the stuff they've been working through with the build fighters and the build fighters online stuff. But now they they have a new season. It's the Metaverse, which is based on all the Gundam build fighters and build fighters try, and so you have all these characters that you've seen in basically all the meta Gundam animes where they build Gundams and Gunpla and battle with them, and you're seeing all these characters that they've kind of built up over the last decade, all playing online with each other, and it's just this weird metaverse that kind of gives you a headache, and it's silly as opposed to the. I wouldn't say that Witch from Mercury is on the same level as Zeta or anything really UC kind of stuff. But it's interesting seeing the way that whole franchise is developing. It really is a meta show about selling toys, about kids making toys to make custom models, to make toys of the custom models.
They've got their audience. They certainly do. They're gonna be like, "Hey, look what we can do here. You should buy more."
But then you can buy the custom version of from the show variation of a model based on an 80s model, and then you can buy it, and then you can customize it more to have a custom version of a custom version. It's genius, actually.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It sounds like it'll really grab you. What else is Irate says the new PSP is all game streaming. You can't even download the digital content to play offline. There's a new PSP?
Didn't know that. Okay.
DJ Ronnie says physical media isn't a concern for you as long as the digital downloads are not DRM protected. Okay. For a big chunk of your stream library, you can make a backup to any media you want. Oh, yeah, good.
True.
Clearly a penguin bias there. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You gotta have the Linux penguin. The only reason you watch Build Fighters is for the cameo appearances.
Fair enough.
Okay. Meta. You hated Inception. Yeah, that was a good movie. I didn't mind it. Dream Within a Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Gets pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, weird.
Yeah. Well, we're getting along here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just kind of wondering, what do you got anything coming up, Punkwaddle? Anything special you'd like to tell everybody? What's going on in your universe there?
Well, I'll tell you what. I have been making videos, but my YouTube I really need to figure out if I just need to clean out the cache or do something, but seems like my Google apps half the time, whether it be YouTube or trying to do my Google Drive, they just won't load. So I've been
Oh.
making videos trying to put them up, but it seems like every time I try, I could do stuff on YouTube, but when I can create a post, but when I try to upload a video on the YouTube, it doesn't want to let half the time it doesn't want to let me even go to that screen. But I can upload videos and shorts and stuff on Gilded or something else. So it's not like an issue of my connection speed, which we thought it was for a while. It's just and then there's also sometimes where YouTube doesn't let me chat as Punk Waddle, and so I have to go as Drunk Waddle. I mean,
Oh.
I have to use his account because we're not the same person, or I let him chat because we're not the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
Because yeah, sometimes a Drunk Waddle shows up in chats because Punk Waddle just is being shadow banned for some reason for a day or two, and I have no idea why.
That's crazy. So that might, yeah, I didn't think of it being shadow banned. Would it be? It wouldn't be the type of browser you're using, would it? Like which?
I use Firefox, but it should be updated.
I had such a hard time with Firefox after a little while. Like it was good, and then it wasn't good. Like I couldn't even get into like when I was going on to Blaine's, I couldn't even get into his. Like a block would show up, like where my avatar is supposed to be, but that would be it. And it's like having a hard. So I switched over to Brave, and I love freaking Brave. You can customize your backgrounds and everything like that. So I have nice waifu pictures on there. And hey, why not, right? It's
yeah.
It's a good it does all right. It seems to block a lot of the stuff too, block a lot of the trackers and everything like that.
There you go.
But yeah,
Since apparently YouTube doesn't let you use an ad blocker.
Yeah, I don't have an ad blocker, but I haven't gotten that warning from them. But actually, just as we're chatting here, about 20 minutes ago, the Restream chat decided to just like boot me out and ask for an email and password. And it's like, okay, Restream, if you want to be like that.
Yeah, because that happened to me a little while earlier. Because when I said something got disconnected, my Restream chat just died, and then my YouTube, it crapped out on me. So I actually just was able to reload YouTube so I can see that you guys chatting on the YouTube side of things. Because Restream kicked me out too.
No, it was just weird. It's just like, okay, why did you do that? I'm right in the middle of a stream and you're kicking me out and you want my email and password. It's like, good thing I've got the other windows up. Like I'm pretty cautious as a streamer. Like I'll have like separate windows. Like I'll have Rumble, Kick, I'll have YouTube open, and just because I don't want to miss a trick, I want to be prepared. But yeah. What is speaking of internet issues, having some serious issues, plus you got to go to work. Catch you later. Okay, irate specialist.
See you later.
You have yourself a good time at work. Don't work too hard. Working on Saturday sucks.
And Sunday.
And Sunday, yeah. I'm glad I don't work the weekends anymore. I used to when I was a 12-hour shift kind of guy, but now I'm an 8-hour shift guy, Monday to Fridays. So it's so much better. Yep. CobraCon says Brave is a different build off Chrome. Okay.
All
good
Yeah.
to know. But yeah, it's some of the things we have to put up with as content creators, streamers, whether it's people stealing our content or stuff like that, or having to come up with ideas, having internet issues, like not being able to upload to YouTube. It's like, what's the problem here? Come on, YouTube, help me out. That's why the other platforms are doing better, like Rumble. Upload to Rumble, it doesn't take anything at all. It's just not as popular as YouTube. YouTube's like the mainstream.
They really are, and they've been courted by mainstream media, and I really don't think, well, I feel like Rumble, talking about the whole Russell Brand issue, the way they handled that, it was interesting. I get where they're coming from, but also when you're speaking to a government in a certain way, and then you post all the replies on social media so everybody can see you, like, it's it's the opposite side of a coin of a virtue signal almost. Like, it's like you did something and you're standing for what you believe in it. And and as a punk, I definitely appreciate that. But when you put it out there in such a way, in such a defiant, obstinate attitude to get the jeers of the people who don't pay you money and don't actually contribute anything, and you're getting lots of likes and appreciation, and the government says you're going to be banned in our country now because we don't appreciate how you did this. Um, I don't know how that works for a business model. We'll see.
Not very well, apparently. I mean,
I, I get the attitude. Just trust me. Like I said, I get stick it to the man. But even at the end of SLC Punk, the guy figured out that he has to be somewhat integrated in this system to make any sort of change, or has to interact in a way that you know he actually can have a positive influence on the world around him instead of being so defiant of it.
yes. And pick your battles and know who you can take on and who you really shouldn't try to take on. I mean, when it comes right down to it, the government's going to win every time.
Yeah,
It's there's just no way about it. Unless you are the government, you're going to lose every time.
and they're a company that's was in Canada, now in what, Florida or something, but all their servers are still in Canada. They haven't moved them all over. So it's like you need to understand what you are risking, and I mean that's without getting all political on that stuff. It's like there's a lot of people who make decisions based on an impulsive reaction that unfortunately the consequences will then eventually show up, whether they like it or not.
Yes, and I guess you learn that over time, and you know, I have, and you got to try to control your emotions. I mean, no matter how old you are, I figure it's easier the older you get. Hopefully, you got to try
Mhm.
to control your emotions because those things they'll sink you right to the bottom of the ocean. So you got to try to be a little more in control of them, and that way you know you'll come out on top eventually. You just got to try
Mhm.
to hang on and soldier through, as it were.
And yeah, I agree, DJ Renergy. Like I appreciate a lot of what they're doing. It's just some of the how to say it. It's a learning curve for sure. Trust me. And what we said earlier, it's kind of like what you said earlier about watching anime that's more hopeful and slice of life because you've seen all this stuff. After my own experience in life, to see like I know what works better and what doesn't work better, and certain people when they feel like they're stuck in a certain situation, they react in a certain way, and hopefully, as through that you learn. I yeah. Anyway, I feel like we're starting to fade a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting a little esoteric here. We're getting along the philosophical side of life. But hopefully, people are enjoying it. We go everywhere, and that's okay. I say tell the current British government to shove it. Oh, yeah. 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 Oh, well, that's okay, DJ Ronnie G.
Yeah.
No, we have a good time, and it's all about having a good time. Like I say, I'm tired. You get tired of seeing the same old, and that's probably why I don't pay attention to the news and stuff like that, because I'm tired of being shown all the bad things and all the terrible things happening, and I don't need anything weighing heavy on my mind. I just want to have a happy life, and it because it affects you a lot more than people actually know. Like seeing all this stuff all the time, being inundated with it, it does affect you and your mood and your attitude and stuff like that. And
oh yeah,
I mean, we should be having happy times and not worrying about terrible things and being bombarded with them, because it affects our relationships with everyone. And so I prefer to just not pay attention to that stuff. And I want to see nice, happy things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know bad things go on. I just don't need to be reminded of them 24/7,
Yeah. I concur with that.
Well, I got to say, it was great having you on, Punk Waddle. I mean, what a great time we had. I'm glad I could do this, and I'm going to try to do this a little more often. Maybe have an open mic session where people can come on and we can have a good old time just chatting away about our favorite stuff, whether it be anime, manga, trade stuff, whatever it happens to be, whatever you do to have fun. I just did it because there was 5 Sundays this month, so and I've run out of cosplay anime.
It's good to have a bonus Sunday once in a while.
Yeah, and a backup plan.
Always always have a backup plan. Always know your exit.
Exactly. So I hoping to see more stuff from you when you can sort out the troubles you're having with YouTube, and that kind of sucks. And hey, YouTube, if you're shadow banning Punk Waddle, knock it off. Stop it.
I think it's more of a glitch with the technology than me doing anything offensive.
Okay, yeah, you're not. I've watched enough of your stuff that you put out there, and it's like you are not offensive. Like there's people way worse out there than you are that still have their channels going and all that. So
yeah,
so sort it out, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Get it taken care of. Don't make me send DJ Ronnie G after you. He's our resident tech guy. He can sort you guys out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But as for me, coming up is Tuesday is going to be Halloween, and we don't really do much for that. We don't. The children in the area have sort of aged out of trick or treating, so there's not a lot of them that come around. So my wife and I just make a special Halloween dinner and watch some shows, and it's going to be Trades Talk Tuesday night. So I'm going to be on. I'll have some pictures and videos of some of the stuff I've been working on and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Saturday coming up will be Game Stream. I got to finish Castlevania 3. I'm stuck on Dracula in his final form. I'm just getting angry because it's taken so long to beat this guy. Frustrating.
Yeah. Got some of that.
Yeah. And what is it here? I'm just going to find out. And I promised everyone that they would be able to see what my next the theme for next month will be.
Oh.
So I'm going to just bring it up here. There we go. Do this. Do this.
Okay.
There you go. The theme for next month is anime about kaiju.
Okay.
So I'm going to go and scour the internet and all over for different animes that feature kaiju. So I hope you guys are hyped for that. It's going to be just more than Godzilla, of course. There is way more kaiju out there than just him. So I am looking forward to that. That will be on the next Sunday in November, will be Kaiju Month.
Okay, that could be fun. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope I can find there's got to be more than there was for cosplay, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you've got some old stuff, you got some new stuff. There should be some fun in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And I try to do it in such a way that I don't get copyright strike and all that. You know how I
Yeah.
show frame by frame, kind of saves me from getting hit with a copyright claim, which I just drives me up the wall.
Oh
'Cause I
yeah,
think
because
Oh, go ahead.
I was like, I know that what Nick Weiser's been doing his Toxics Tuesdays for a long time. And they'll do that. They'll just kind of grab some frames here and there and talk about it, and that keeps them from getting hit because, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
it's
try
what
to.
it's infuriating. Like it's like, hey, we're promoting your stuff and we're talking about it and it's transformative and whatever it is they want it to be. And it's like you're still gonna block it in all the regions. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
Just yeah. Just makes you angry.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Sometimes people like angry pop, but that's okay. It doesn't happen all the time.
As long as,
Um
yeah, sometimes angry for a justified reason once in a while is good. I know Brandon gets frustrated with that too. And
yes.
knowing which studio is and where it's currently being placed helps you know how strict they are about using their content, which is also a big hoop jump through sort of thing.
Yeah, and actually the one time I did get well, it was weird because it's like I was showing a bit of Rail Wars and
Mhm.
it said um there is a copyright, but they're not going to do anything about it. I was like, "Oh,
Weird.
okay. Thanks. Uh whoever you guys are that made Rail Wars, I appreciate that." So that was kind of awesome on their part. It's like, yeah, I just showed a little clip of your show and you guys know that it was there and you're not doing anything about it. So cheers to you.
Yeah. Because if fans can't, and that's the thing, like if fans can't share stuff, I mean, if everything's such a digital age where we have to use it online, but they're going to track everything, so it's hard to talk and hard to share and hard to. It's not like we're, the whole intellectual property Napster issue from 20 plus years ago, where we're not just burning cop. You can't just really burn a copy of a DVD now. People rip stuff and share it like that. I get it, and I understand that there's some people have more values on the high seas than others, and when it's, I get that, but just sharing a clip and just sharing the trailer that's been put out there publicly is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, and a trailer like that should be perfect. It's like you guys released this trailer for people to watch. We are just watching this trailer and stopping and talking about it. It's a trailer. Like
Mhm.
that's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those and Napster. You mentioned Napster. Man, how many people remember Napster in the chat? I mean, Napster, BitTorrent, LiveWire, like doing all that stuff to download your things from back years ago. I mean, oh yeah.
Mhm.
I think I even mentioned one time on a stream of the Microsoft network. For those of you that remember Windows 95,
Oh yeah,
they had their own thing you could dial into, and it was called the Microsoft network. That was crazy.
I remember that because that's when AOL was kind of being its own thing, and it still needed AOL needed some sort of internet provider to even access AOL, which was kind of funny how that all played out.
Yeah. And you'd get you'd get the discs when you bought like computer books or whatever, free disc,
Mhm.
Prodigy,
Oh,
AOL.
yeah.
Yeah.
OS/2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compaq was a big thing back then too.
Oh yeah. I, I I've got a thing for retro computers. I really like 386s and 486s and all that, and watching YouTubers rebuild them, refurbish them. Like that's one of the things I like to do is watch that kind of stuff. And it's pretty neat. Uh, just seeing stuff like that.
Mhm.
Repairing stuff. Yeah, I like that.
I feel like that's up DJ Running G's alley as well.
Yep. Yep. What is Cobra Kai saying? You mean like the MS Minecraft debacle? I don't know what that is. I'm not caught up on anything like that. But DJ Runny G says Kazaa. Yeah, I remember Kazaa. Oh, CompuServe, AOL
Yeah.
coasters.
Yep.
Student knew what to talk about during the old Yes, yeah, I was when you were showing the old microprocessors, DJ Ronnie G. I was chirping in with a little bit of knowledge that I had about them back in the day.
The worst thing about conversations like this is going through all the shows, new shows and old shows that I want to watch, and then just adding them to my watch list and realizing I will never get to any of this.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what gets me. Not I'm not picking on Brandon or anything, but he makes these lists that are like
Mhm,
300 shows, and
mhm.
it's just like, how? Like, when are you going to find the time to watch all of those? You know, every season I pick maybe 2 or 3 shows that look interesting,
Mhm.
maybe 4. But man, that's huge. The lists are out that he has out there.
Yeah. That's real.
Maybe you'll spin up your PC AT for me. Yeah, I'd like that. I like the old AT style. And you learned something from me that day about the 486 FPU. Yeah, right. We did, with the difference between what an SX and a DX is. Yep, you betcha.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of computer talk, but it's something I lived through because you're always looking to upgrade your machine back in the day, and I think I can remember spending like $200 on 16 megs of RAM
Oh, yeah.
just to upgrade the computer.
Even the
Uh,
SD cards from a decade ago, like 2 4 gig, now it's like, yeah, we have as much gig as a small computer or a phone for
yep,
like $30 on sale. Oh,
yep,
okay.
yep. The price of memory has just dropped. Like
Mhm.
it's crazy, especially when you're dealing with the older stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this, Cobra Khan? The new EULA of Minecraft screwing the streamers over. You can't name a stream starting with Minecraft. What?
Oh, really? That's silly.
And that's Minecraft people doing that? That's ridiculous.
They
You
want
want to
that intellectual property so much that they're yeah.
drive people away from your brand? Go ahead. Jeez,
Mhm.
come on, Cobra Khan. The good old days of Cyrix 486 DX266. Yeah, I upgraded my 33 to a 100 by buying an overdrive chip. And so you got the fancy little thing to remove the chip from the board, and then you put in your DX4 100, and you're like, man, this is so fast. Awesome.
That's fun.
Yep. You did feature one of the AMD 46 chips. You don't have a Cyrix 46. I like those ones because they were green. The Cyrix chips, most of them were green.
Interesting.
Yep. Once did have a Make It 46 upgrade chip for 286 motherboards. Ooh. Yeah. Anyways, we're getting along here. I think just about time to start wrapping. We'll wrap things up now. It's been a nice long stream. It was it was a pleasure chatting with you, Punkwaddle. I'm glad you came along.
Oh yeah, it's always good to chat, and said I had a busy public weekend, so just being able to chill on the Sunday morning and chat about all this kind of as it goes. And hey, DJ Ronnie G, next time if we talk, maybe we'll talk about something a little more exciting for you that you'll be able to pop in and be part of the conversation too.
More tech related.
Yeah, or maybe we'll talk about shoes you like,
or turtles.
Yeah, true. We can talk about turtles if you want to.
Yeah. No, it was great, and yeah, when you can just have a nice chill stream, you don't have any kind of, and like say the conversation can wander just like any normal conversations with people, that they wander all over the place, and that's people. That's how people communicate. The conversations just wander all over, and we have a good time. We talk about things in common and things what we've experienced, and I have a good old time. I hope everyone else in the chat had a good old time. What else? DJ Ronnie C, really a 386 with extra cache, but even a 286 being made in 386 rocks, or the pencil mod on the Intel Slot 1 Celerons. I haven't heard of that yet. Unfortunately, you fried it and you fried shoving it into a 387 Masco. Oh, man.
Oops. I'm going to pretend like I know what that means.
Yeah. You were trying to pop in earlier, but your coworker had you oh, that's right. You were being accosted.
Right.
It's not fun, or depending on who you are, it could be fun.
True.
But yeah, let's wrap her up here. It was an excellent stream. I really I've been on this long for a while, but
me neither, actually.
We had a lot to talk about. You had a lot of good input, and I like hearing about the other shows that you watch and the ones you want to watch. That's important too. And hopefully I've introduced people to some of the shows that they've never heard of and they might want to watch, from back in the historical anime vault,
Mm-hmm. Anything with mecha and or waifus, right? If Jake D's still probably gone by now, but yeah.
Yeah, if it's got waifus, Jake D is in. He had nosebleeds and all.
Yeah. But no, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This has been.
I'm glad. Yeah. It's nice to just chill. Not have a purpose really for the chat.
True story.
All right.
See if I think all my coffee's gone cold and probably need to grab something to eat. So yeah.
Get a refill. Get a refill, Punkwaddle. Something to eat, something to drink. Keep yourself going. I hope everyone has a great Saturday, and I hope you are able to fix up your uploading issues. Everyone, please subscribe to Punkwaddle if you haven't. Go and see all the stuff he's got going on. He's at Floral from Under a Rock on every Wednesday, I believe. And you're even doing Fajita Fridays on Snowdub's channel.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a busy penguin. You've got a lot of irons in the fire there. Like you're really.
Yeah. It's fun when it's streaming on other people's channel. Like I could do more on mine, but that's subsidiary. But just having fun and hanging out with people is really what it's all about. Like this.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect example. And I know I'm usually, I am the early morning streamer, as it were, on the weekends. So it's early for me, 9 a.m. Maybe for other people it's not so early, but it's the time I feel is the best. I think I've kind of claimed it as my own. So.
Yeah.
Well then. Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, I hope you had a great time. I hope to see you around on Tuesday. If not, please stop by the Saturday and Sunday streams, as I do every weekend. Until next time, from my guest Punkwaddle and myself, Pop, we are signing off.